What's good, everyone? This is Justin Just Rock Ramon from the Just Right podcast, where elevation is our recreation. Super excited for you to check out our next episode, but before we get into it, I'm curious to know if you've ever dreamt about the open road and the camper van adventure lifestyle. If so, I'd love for you to check out Road Surfer, the global leader in RV and camper van rentals. With over 90 rental stations across Europe and North America in 16 countries, they make it easy to hit the road wherever adventure calls. You'll find locations in places like Los Angeles, San Francisco, Las Vegas, Denver, and more. Use our promo code JUSTTREK for 11% off your next road trip adventure, whether you're exploring along the coast, in the national parks, or a new city. Book now at roadsurfer.com and experience van life made easy. Link is in the description. Now to get back to the episode, my inspiring guest goes by the name Grant, aka Gallivanting with Grant on Instagram. Grant is a SoCal-based trekker, content creator, Outdoor Adventures Plus ambassador, California naturalist, and is the creator of the Grateful Gallivanters blog and the new Grateful Gallivanters podcast. We chatted about Grant's first hiking memories, his growth as a content creator, his top trails in the US, national parks that have surprised him the most, reminisced about the Outdoor Adventures Plus 5-year anniversary along the Central Coast in Montana del Oro State Park, his transition from being a solo hiker to now leading group hikes, his new role as a certified California naturalist, and his participation in projects like the Monarch Butterfly migration. We also talked about his recent move to Mount Laguna from Orange County and the tiny house living, and the one outdoor experience he would relive all over again. In addition to this YouTube video you're watching right now, we have audio versions available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on all the other major streaming platforms. You can find those links in the description. All right, let's get to trekking and get into this episode. All right, y'all, we are back at it with another episode with another incredible guest. We're out here in Gallivanting State Park, a true gem in Los Angeles, just 15 minutes away from LAX airport. And right here next to me is the Gallivanter of all Gallivanters. We have Grant, aka Gallivanting with Grant on Instagram, SoCal trekker, outdoor content creator, Outdoor Adventures Plus ambassador, All Trails ambassador, creator of the Grateful Gallivanters blog, national park explorer, and certified California naturalist.
Yes, sir.
So excited to say, welcome to the Just Right podcast,
Honored
Grant.
to be here, yep.
How'd you like that intro, man? You have a lot of titles in that one.
That made me feel special. You make me blush, man. You know, is that your like some flirting type of thing? No.
That's my job, man, to make the guests feel comfortable, to make you blush, have a trail blush. We won't be able to tell with those sunglasses and your outfit, so you're good, man. But so awesome to finally have you on, as I know this episode has been very long overdue.
Very long.
But just to start things off, like, how are you liking our podcast studio setting right now? And what are your first impressions of Gallivanting State Park?
I am surprised this is so close to the concrete jungle that is LA. Like as you said, Justin, it's 15 minutes from the airport. It seems like they've made the best of the area. I mean, this is an artificial lake, but you have wildlife, you have mallards, you have pigeons that call this area home. You got plenty of trees. So yeah, I'm impressed. This is a nice underrated gem, as you said.
Don't be surprised if some turtles actually creep onto the rocks here and hang out and sunbathe.
Yeah.
They'll just have to join the pod at that point.
Yeah, there'll be a featured guest.
Also, you know I got to bring this up and share this story of how I took a great liking to your name, your Instagram name, Gallivanting with Grant, as it relates to my Filipino roots. And I just remember, like, I was like, hey, Grant, like, how did you choose that specific word to go along with Grant? Like, yes, the alliteration, but, like, it flows so well. And then I told you, you know, what's funny is I took a great liking to it because in my Filipino roots, my Filipino upbringing, that word is used quite a lot by my parents and my aunts and uncles.
In a different way.
In a different way. And in Tagalog, which is the Filipino language, we pronounce the V's with B's. So when I was growing up being a mischievous kid, they'd be like, where's Justin, huh? Is he gallivanting again? Is he gallivanting? And I remember I told you that you started cracking up.
So, I am Grant, so I wanted to come up with a name that was outdoor related and started with G, and I was really having a hard time. I was like Googling, and then finally I found Gallivanting, which means roaming around in pleasure, and different kind of pleasure, but I do gain pleasure from being outdoors and joy, so I thought I could use that and no one would know what the real gallivanting was. And then he told me one day, he showed me a picture. He was at it was a flea market.
Yes.
He had a hat that said Gallivanting. He just sent it to me and I was like, oh yeah, he knows what it means.
Yeah, I was at the Filipino block party fiesta called Barrio. I think it's called Barrio Hi-Fi something. And
Yeah.
I remember I was like, I gotta send Grant this photo. I was like, this is literal proof
Yep.
of how that word gallivanting is tied to the Filipino culture.
It's funny. We share a great joy in that. That's funny. I'm glad you brought up that story.
Yeah, great name to go along with the name Grant.
Thank
It
you.
means like adventure, seeking pleasure, wandering,
Yeah, I can
having
twist into
fun,
that. Yep.
being carefree. So
Yep.
such a great word.
Yep.
All right, Grant. So before we get into all your recent adventures and all the new happenings going on in your life, I do want to learn more about you and your outdoor journey and dig deeper into that. So I want you to take us back. What was your first hiking memory?
Yeah, so I don't have a first memory, but I do have first time period, like outdoor wise. So I grew up in Irvine, California. That's in Orange County. It's a really pretty area. You have the Santa Ana Mountains right there. And so my dad would take my siblings and I over to the mountains like Trabuco Canyon, O'Neill Regional Park, that stuff. And we'd go hiking there, and then there's Bomber Canyon, which is in Irvine, and there's creeks that run through. So my sister and I and my brother, we'd look for frogs and tadpoles in the lake. And then we'd also go to Newport Beach, Crystal Cove State Park, and they had tide pools. So we'd walk down the steps, and then we'd go to the tide pools, and we'd look for hermit crabs. We'd see not just hermit crabs, but sea urchins, and then the occasional sea lion that was bathing. So that's really where we got our introduction to the outdoors. Was my dad would take us.
Awesome. So you grew up in an outdoorsy family.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you grow up in an outdoorsy family, it either sticks or you come back to it. So I'm also curious to know, yes, nature, because of your dad and your family, had a major impact on you, as a young buck, as a young kid.
Young buck.
Reflecting back, were those the moments when you began to realize that hiking and spending extensive time in nature would become a major part of your lifestyle and identity moving forward? Or do you think that happened further down the road in life?
Yeah, so it happened further down in life because when I was growing up, I played basketball. So up until the end of high school, it was just school and basketball, and that's all I focused on. I didn't really go outside. It wasn't until once I graduated, I had some high school friends who liked to go camping, so I camped with them in Joshua Tree, BLM lands. I camped with them in Anza Borrega, Lake Cuyamaca, a bunch of different places. So that's where I first went and got into the outdoors, post-childhood. Then it really took off during the pandemic. There wasn't a whole lot for us to do, so nothing but driving. So I went and tried to find places where I can go outside, and I would drive there, and that's how I found out about places, was really not just going with friends, but also the pandemic. That's when me going outdoors really took off. And I know we'll get into more of that with my content creating journey and stuff.
For sure.
Yeah.
To go back to your basketball journey, what position did you play out of curiosity?
I was more of a point forward. Like growing up, I played point guard, but then when I transitioned to high school, my coaches had their favorites for point guard, so I played on the wing. I was like a jack of all trades type of player.
Nice.
I could slash, I could score, but I could rebound. But I played more of the wing.
Very cool. I played basketball a bit too growing up, but I was more of a soccer player.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But basketball, point guard for the most part. And I was curious, what position was he playing?
Yeah,
And
I played varsity my senior year.
And favorite current NBA team?
Lakers.
Lakers? Got to ride with the Lakers.
Always got to.
Right on.
Yeah.
The last Laker game I attended, I think it was LeBron was playing. And the one before that, it was one of Kobe's last games, so it was really cool to
That's awesome.
go to the stadium. It used to be called
Staples Center. Yeah.
Staples Center. It's been so long, but it's called Crypto.com.
Well, it's called, Crypto. I think it's better. It rolls off the tongue when it's Crypto Arena. Crypto.com. It just sounds strange to me.
Yeah, it's awkward for sure.
Yeah.
But to bring it back to the outdoorsy part of you, Really curious to know in terms of your outdoor content creator journey, like how did that all get started? Like, was there a certain piece of content that you might have got inspired by, or like how did you dive into creating content consistently and growing your account?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. So my dad and I, we go on a national park trip once a year. We're there for like 5 days, and it was 2020, and we were gonna be going to Glacier National Park. And so what my dad likes to do in his free time is go on YouTube and watch content creators that will hike these places that he likes to hike. And so one day I was in his room watching it with him, and I was seeing this guy, and I was thinking, like I can do the same thing that he does. Like I have a treasure trove of content, and I have good communication skills. So I was like, I can do this myself. So I actually got my start on YouTube, and that was back in summer of fall 21. And I made quite a few videos, but I just discovered that it was hard to gain subscribers on YouTube. So I had a girl I used to date that she was just like, hey, you should try TikTok. So I was like, all right. So I went and launched a TikTok account, and I did well on there. I gained a couple thousand followers, and I felt that I might as well try it on Instagram. Like the more visibility I have, the more I could potentially grow. And so I juggled both TikTok and Instagram for a while, but then it got a lot for me to handle. Like I had about a couple thousand followers on each, but I noticed that Instagram had a more consistent engagement. Their community was, more supportive. And so January 23, I decided to go to Instagram full time, and really I just grew it organically. Like there's some profiles I like buy followers
For
and
sure.
stuff, but for me, when I first started, I had a group of like content creators that I looked up to. So I outlined like a dozen. I DM'd them, about half a dozen got back to me, and then a couple gave me really good advice. And the theme was just engagement. Like the more engagement you do, the more you're able to grow. So like seeing someone's story and comment, oh wow, that's a beautiful place, or oh, I've been there, resharing people's content, commenting on it. And so I took that to heart, and these past couple years, I've just remained consistent. I've done that approach. I mean, not as much lately because I've had some, life changes, but it's kind of like, with investments. You invest a certain amount of money at first, and then the dividends kick in, compound interest kicks in, and
Damn, dropping the financial terms. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
So after a while, you just the money makes itself. So for me, my profile is continuing to grow, even though I'm not, engaging as much as I used to. But I still do engage. So that's the formula for how I grew, is just supporting the community, engaging with them.
Who are some of those outdoor content creators that you looked up to? Do you know off the top some of them?
There's one profile like the Traveler's Passport.
Okay,
I think.
I know you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were the one that I looked up to. And the thing is that I was just looking back last night. Like a lot of these profiles I used to follow, like they're no longer there. Like they no longer are around, or they stopped posting. So Traveler's Passport is the one that's still around. But yeah, I mean, I've been in this thing since February 22. The content creators I looked up to, they're not around anymore.
yeah. I feel like doing content creation consistently, it is a full-time job. Especially if you're trying to balance it out with your day job or your other full-time
Yeah.
job, it really is a lot. Yeah, no, for sure. I don't have as much followers as you, but I've been growing my account for a while.
And you
hoping
have
to
that
reach,
community.
Yes, yes. And what they mentioned, like as long as you're constantly engaging, commenting, because especially with Instagram, the community starts in the comments.
Yes.
If you're not engaging or replying with like thoughtful replies or getting
Yes.
back to them, they're gonna think that you ghosted them, or that like, oh, I don't feel like following this guy's page anymore, because they don't feel seen, right? Even though this is the social media world, people do feel seen.
Yep.
When you respond back, share a story, shout them out.
Absolutely.
So it's so crucial. But to your point too, like it's hard to be consistent because of everyday life, and also you just burn out from it from time to time.
From time to time.
And I'm very proud of you, because I remember before you reached 10K and you were grinding towards it, and you finally reached it,
Yeah,
and now you're close to 11K.
Over.
What was it?
11.1.
11.1 to be
Not
exact,
trying to flex here.
as of this very moment.
Yeah.
How would you describe the kind of content that you post on Instagram consistently, would you say?
I try not to pigeonhole my content. Like I like trying certain things out. To your point earlier, I like commenting on everyone's profile. Like there's some people that have like 100 or 200 followers, I'm like, wow, like this is beautiful content. Like it should be out there. So just knowing that I was in that position, I think I had like 180 followers. My Instagram was private when I started out. Like I just look back and I was in those smaller profile shoes. And if I broadcast their content to my followers or I comment on theirs, they can look and be like, oh, wow, yeah, this is an account that, is doing quite well. And I've even had a few people actually DM me and ask me, much like you did, how I got to where I am. And I'm always honored to give back and, help people out because I was in that position myself.
And you've posted so many reels, so many carousel posts, so many beautiful photos and recaps of your adventures. Is there any piece of content that you've put out there that you're just really proud of that you shared? Whether it was like maybe could have been a skit or maybe like a carousel post of a certain destination, or maybe I know you like to do a lot of the walking and inspirational quotes. Is there any particular piece of content that comes to your mind that you're like, yeah, that was special, or that
one piece of content?
Just one of them off the top of your head, because you've been posting
Yeah.
for several years now, so it might be hard to pick your top, but like,
Oh, I
what's
got
one you're
one.
most proud of?
So I've only been like viral once.
Okay.
And that was, I believe, in February of 24. I had gone to the Eastern Sierras and I had driven on 395, and like what I do, I kind of take risks. So like I'll put my phone out the window and pan. So that's what I did. So I was driving and I, panned my phone, and the Sierras at the time, Whitney, were just snow capped. And so I did the whole thing, and then I posted it and I said something like Highway 395, the most beautiful drive like ever. And I didn't expect it to take off, but it took off and it had 900,000 views.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was close to 1 million, and I think I was like at around 6K, and that gave me like a couple thousand right there. Like I got a couple thousand followers. So it was I'm just grateful that I went viral once, but that was probably the piece of content that I was most proud of because the audio was perfect and just the snow-capped Sierras were just perfect. So that's the one that I was like, yeah.
That's so cool you brought that up, because
Yeah.
literally a few days ago, I just came back from the Eastern Sierras, Highway 395.
Yeah.
I consider
Yeah.
the Eastern Sierras California's prized mountain range.
Yep.
It's home to 1514ers, home to the Big Mamma Jamma, Mount Whitney, tallest mountain in the continental U.S., 14,504 feet, Alpine Lake Heaven. But that would make sense that that piece of content took off, because that part of California is just so majestic.
It's like our Montana, our Wyoming.
Yes.
4 hours, 5 hours from downtown LA.
That's what's so mind-blowing. It's so accessible. 4 hours from LA will bring you to Vegas, but why not switch it up and go
Yep.
to this remote, rugged wilderness, the Sierra Nevada mountains, but specifically the Eastern Sierras?
Yep.
And you also have a blog that's called
Yes.
Grateful Gallivanter's blog. What is that all about? And what are the types of posts and blogs that you put on there?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. So when I was a kid, sometimes when I wouldn't be able to sleep, I would go in our bookshelf in the living room and pull out Chicken Soup for the Soul. But you know that?
Oh,
Yeah.
my, classic. Grew up
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of different variations of it. So I would just pull it out, and I was always fascinated in people's stories, like how they overcame adversity or what they're thankful for, stuff like that. And I always knew that I wanted to do something along those lines. So actually, Grateful Galvanters was not my first blog. When I went to UC Irvine, I had a blog called SAD, which is Students Afflicted with Depression. And so I would go on student forums and post and ask people like, what is it? How have you overcome adversity? Or how have you overcome the huge workload, or like stayed afloat, stuff like that. And it was doing really well. So I was strictly on Facebook, but I would showcase fellow students' content, and it was doing really well. But then my grades started slipping, so I had to cut off distractions, and that included that. But I always knew I wanted to do something like that again. And so in the spring of last year, I launched Grateful Gallivanters, and what that's about is basically anyone that has gone to nature and has felt gratitude, I would provide them with the platform to tell their story. And we've had some amazing guests, like Tammy on the trails. She is amazing. She's like over 50 and she continues to truck it like more than most millennials I know. But she was talking about how her daughter had some debilitating health issues, and There wasn't much faith that she was going to get fully healthy, and she just continued to pray. And she has this rule where before she wakes up, before she gets out of bed, she says 3 things that she's grateful for. And so I do that myself. And so she kept doing that, and she kept praying. And then this doctor in Chicago who specialized in the type of surgeries that would help her daughter overcome her health issue saw her email and said, "We'll fly you out there the next day." So yeah, so he flew the family on the daughter out, and the daughter became healthy again. And as the last time I talked to her, she hasn't been back in the hospital.
Wow,
And that
what a
was really,
story.
yeah, and that made me feel really emotional. Like, it's just stories like that where you just realize, like, we all have problems, but just having a health issue that her daughter was supposedly gonna face for the rest of her life, but she overcame it. That's the type of powerful stories that I like. There's many more. So Grateful Gallivanter's blog, it's in my bio, my link tree. You can access it from there. There's so many great stories on there,
Thank you.
including you.
I was gonna say, I was like, thank you for asking me to be on the blog. It was an honor and to share my story. My story, as you read, climbing out of depression out in nature on Sandstone Peak. But you'll just have to read more about it on the Gallivanter's blog. So check it out, Grant. So always on the show, I want the listeners to discover new places to explore that our guests have done. So I'm curious to know, what would you say are your top 3 trails, not just in SoCal, not just in California, but in the US of A?
Yeah, we talked about this.
Because I didn't want to box you into just California because
Yep.
you have such a varied exploration breadth of experience all over the United States.
Well, I will start with California. These are 3 hikes that are under 4 miles, that are under 500 feet elevation gain, like a great bang for your buck hikes. And one of them is the Congress Trail in Sequoia National Park. That's, I think, 3.8 miles. Y'all can fact check me if you want. And it's less than 500 feet in elevation. And hiking that trail, I've hiked it twice, and it made me, the last time I was there, it made me cry. Because they had a really bad fire a couple years ago. Like, I was there pre-fire and it was beautiful, but then when I went back in 22, those same hillsides were black, charred, you could still smell the smoke. But thankfully, the Congress Trail wasn't affected, and that is where the largest tree in the world is, the General Sherman tree.
Oh, that's where General Sherman
That's
is.
where General Sherman, so it's in that grove. And what's cool is that they have those little placards, like info about the tree, and one of them was that its trunk is so large in diameter that you can fit enough water to where you take a bath for every day for 26 years.
That's a wild stat, in fact.
In another one, it's like a mouse is looking up at a 6-foot tall person.
That's an interesting perception.
Yeah, so just like
perspective.
looking up at it, walking, up, you just get humbled, because it's like, these sequoias just tower toward the sky. And just talking about the fire, I was just so grateful that these giants were still around. So I was tearing up. I was like, gosh, I'm so grateful that I'm here. They're only isolated in a certain part of the Sierra, so they're not really found in many spots. So just seeing these giants that are still thriving, it's really humbling. So that's one. So I gave the California Trail. And then the second one is Taggart Lake. Taggart Lake, Grand Teton National Park, which is also around the same length, same elevation gain. And that is a really great bang for your buck hike. So you don't even have to go in the heart of the park. It's outside the park, and you hike there, and there's Taggart Lake, but then it's backed up with, the Grand Tetons. And the Grand Tetons in French means something that are X-rated. I can't say it, but if you guys want to
come on, say it. Keep it spicy. If you don't want to, it's okay.
Big,
Big Tetons.
Big Tetons. Yeah.
Just leave it at
Yeah. That's all y'all need to know.
Y'all get it.
Yeah, but it was, I've hiked there a couple times, and I usually go in the morning to beat the crowds. And so you can see the steam rising off the water, and just having the Tetons, the rocky Tetons behind as the backdrop, it is amazing. So that's the second one. And then the third one is the ultimate bang for your buck hike. It has a couple names, like there's Zion Canyon Overlook, there's Observation Point Trail. So there's a couple different names for it, but it's like a poor man's Angel's Landing. Like, Everyone talks,
Interesting.
yeah, everyone talks about Angel's Landing, and don't get me wrong, like the views from Angel's Landing are amazing, but I will never hike it because to me, it's too risky. Like, I don't want to have to go on a hike where I have to, grab a chain.
Be too stressed out. You can't even like
Yeah,
appreciate your
yeah,
environment.
so that's not, yeah, so this observation point trail, you come out of the Mount Carmel Highway Tunnel, and then on the right side is a dirt parking lot. So you can park there, and then you just hike. It's literally half a mile there, half a mile back. It's approximately 129 feet elevation gain, and you get sweeping views of Zion Canyon that are really similar to Angel's Landing, but you don't have to do like a lot of the work that you do for Angel's Landing. So that, to me, that's the ultimate bang for your buck hike.
Oh my gosh. So I think I did that exact same hike.
Yeah.
I remember the name being Canyon Overlook
Yes,
Trail.
that's another name, Canyon Overlook.
It's
Yep.
the same as Observation Point?
It is the same. That's actually the name that it goes off of. Like if you go to the National Park website or Hiking Guy, you've had Hiking
Chris
Guy
Hazard,
on.
the hiking guy's
Yeah,
been a guest.
he's amazing. He's been everywhere, and so he has a profile, and he names it that name.
So we went there for sunset.
Okay.
First time in Zion, did the Narrows, wasn't able to do
Now
Angel's
that's
Landing.
another special hike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Grant. Canyon Overlook during sunset blew my mind away. When you say biggest bang for your buck for the mileage, I don't know if there's a better one, because I remember since it was 0.5 miles, our friend that was guiding us or who was showing us around Zion, he's like, oh yeah, just wear your sandals. You don't have to wear hiking boots. Little to come find out, it's kind of like like I wish I wore my hiking shoes because there was big steps, a little bit of mini scrambling, and I was like, oh, okay, that was like a really adventurous 0.5 miles to this overlook, but my
And scenic
goodness.
too along the way.
Oh, insanely scenic. It's not
Yeah.
just at the end. It's like all the views smack you in the face along the way.
Yep. The only thing is that it can get really windy, because on the canyon you're exposed. So that, be mindful of that if you go. It can get really windy.
Awesome. Loved your selection. Let's recap real quick. The first one you mentioned was Congress Trail.
Congress Trail.
General Sherman, the largest tree in the
Sequoia
world.
National Park.
Sequoia National
Yep.
Park. Your second one was in Grand Teton. What is the name?
Taggart Lake.
Taggart Lake. And then the third one was Canyon Overlook or Observation Point in Zion.
Yes.
Awesome. So if y'all hear that, check out one of those trails. That's why we ask the guests these questions, so that you have new places to explore, to fulfill your own soul with, because there's just too much out there to explore, and everybody has different cravings to what they desire in nature, different landscapes. Some people like the forest more, some people like mountaineering, some people
Desert.
like alpine lakes, some people
Yeah.
like waterfall hikes. There's so many ways to explore, and like so many different kinds of like notable points of interest or landmarks that you can like get to.
Yeah, so
right?
DM us, if you have any questions on places to go. We'd love to help.
And apparently you are quite the national park aficionado,
I've
national
been
park
to 21,
lover.
and I'm going to go 2 more. So October, I'm going with my dad to North Cascades National Park. We think it may be the most beautiful one we've gone to yet.
North Cascades, I hear about it
yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
Ivan, our mutual friend,
Yes.
shout outs to Ivan.
Yeah,
Hikes and
shout out
Bikes
to Ivan.
podcast.
He's going to meet us there, and we're going to do a father-son episode for
No
the Hikes and
way.
Bikes. Yeah.
That's going to be so
Yeah, because
so awesome.
we recorded an episode last summer in Mount Rainier, and he got to meet my dad, and I was so proud because just letting my dad into my world, letting him meet
Sure.
my friends, and they really hit it off. So yeah, in October we're gonna do a father-son episode. He's the most excited that he's been. He thinks that this could be the best one we've been, and I agree. And then November, the Outdoor Adventure Plus leads. We're going to be going to Pinnacles National Park, and I haven't been there before, so I'm excited for that too. So that'll bring my total up to 23.
Ooh, a lot of exciting things in store for you.
Yep.
I'm excited to hear that father-son episode with Ivan.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ivan again.
Shout
I
out
was
to
also a
Ivan.
guest on his podcast. A lot of our friends have been on it also.
One of the nicest dudes you can meet. Real
And he's-
humble dude.
And I know we'll get into this a little bit later, but he
Yeah.
was the reason we met.
Yes, he was.
That pivotal, life-changing
Yep.
group
Shout out
like
to
you
Ivan.
attended. All right, so clearly we've been talking about you being a national park lover. You've been to around 21, you said. Just like reflecting on all the places you've been to national park-wise, which specific parks have surprised you the most, and why?
Yeah, so the thing with national parks, I feel like if a national park is designated as a national park, it is beautiful. but there have been a few that have exceeded my expectations. So one of them is the Grand Canyon, but it's not the rim you're probably thinking of. It's the North Rim. Everybody goes to the South Rim, but for me, my experiences, it's been really crowded. It's been warm, and the North Rim though is completely different because the North Rim is 1,000 feet higher. It's usually 10 degrees cooler, and it's on the Kaibab Plateau, Mogollon Rim, and that's home to the largest ponderosa pine forest in the world. So you get your shade, but you also get your views, your sweeping views of the Grand Canyon. The catch is that it's harder to get to. So the South Rim, you can go on I-40 and then you shoot up to the South Rim. But with the North Rim, you gotta go through Utah, so Kanab and then Fredonia, and then it's really remote going up there. So that is the catch. But last year when I went to the South Rim, like I got there at 8, and it was cool. But by the time I left, like by noon, the entrance was backed up like a mile and a half. And so I knew, like, I'm not coming back here. But the year before, I went from Memorial Day to the North Rim. Memorial Day, the entire day I was there, I saw maybe a dozen people.
What a hack.
And this is the Grand Canyon. And it's still powerful. Like, I took an ex up there, and she had never been outside of Orange County. And when we stepped outside the car, like, she was sobbing. Like, that's the impact that it had, because it's so beautiful. You look at the views, and you're just like, wow, like, this was carved over millions and millions of years. Like, it's so expansive.
You brought her up there and she's like, you better propose to me right now.
Well, the trip didn't end well, but that's, neither here nor there.
For sure. That's really cool you brought up Grand Canyon, the North Rim, because I've been wanting to do rim to rim in the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of friends that have done
an intense hike.
A hike or a trail run, but they would always mention that the North Rim was so much more remote, so much more peaceful.
Oh, interesting.
And that it's a 4-hour shuttle bus ride to go from north to south. That made me realize like how far each rim was.
Yeah.
Hope to do that. I think it's too late now. It's already summer pretty much.
No, but that's the thing though, is that it's cooler up there. The ponderosa pines offer shade.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's not the same as the South Rim. Like, it's still going to be warm, but you'll have shade thanks to the ponderosas. So.
Okay, duly noted.
Yep.
And you mentioned North Rim of Grand Canyon. Is there another national park that also like really surprised you, took
There's
you
a
aback?
couple. Yeah, there's a couple. It was last May I went to Petrified Forest National Park, and I was staying in Flagstaff, and I had some time, so I figured, it's about an hour east. Like, the thing with Petrified Forest, it's not on the way to anything. The only thing, like, if you're going to like New Mexico or further east, then that's a way. But usually people don't really go there. But I went there and I was amazed by the petrified wood. Like, have you ever seen petrified wood? You ever held it?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Yeah, so it's like a rock. Like, you wouldn't think it's right. It's like a crystallized rock, but really it's a snapshot into history. Like, it's dated back to 2 million years old. Like, back then, that area was a swamp. So you had mangrove trees that were growing inside the swamp, and then over time the water receded and it became the desert to what it was today. But what's awesome is that you have these remnants from millions and millions in the Precambrian period, the Jurassic period, of these rocks that are just there. And it's awesome because they're varying sizes. Like, sometimes you'll see like giant logs. But I caution you guys, if you visit, do not take petrified wood out of the park, because legend has it that you will be cursed. I know someone personally that literally mailed back their petrified wood to the park because they didn't want to be cursed. There's two gift shops right outside the park, and you can find petrified wood that it may not be from inside the park, but it's from the area, so you can find petrified wood, all shapes and sizes. So I have two. I kept one for myself. I keep it by my bed, and then I gave one to my mom. And then they have a really cool trail called the Blue Mesa Trail, which it's not that long. It's maybe like 3 miles or so, but the rocks have rings that are like a grayish color, but it makes it look blue. And so the clouds that bounce off of it like changes the colors of the rock. So it was really cool. So yeah, they got the petrified wood, but they also have trails that you can hike.
I have heard about this place because Carla Amador, the founder of the 52 Hike Challenge, lives in New Mexico. And I saw a bunch of Instagram content of her exploring that area.
That's
I was like, ooh, what is this? So
Yeah.
I was so intrigued just because of the name alone.
Yep. Yeah, and then the last one, I gotta say, was Black Canyon, the Gunnison National Park, Western Colorado. So I like Breeze Airlines. Like, even though their options are limited, I used to live in Orange County, so I would fly from John Wayne to Grand Junction. Like, they happen to have that. And Grand Junction's like maybe an hour and a half from Black Hand to Gunnison, the South Rim. So you can just go there. So I had like a rental car and I drove down there and I went to the South Rim, and you see sweeping views of the rocks that kind of look like the Grand Canyon, except the rocks are more blackish color. So those also come from the Precambrian period. Like, the sediment is supposedly 200 million years old. I don't know how scientists date them.
Those things, when they actually date it, you're just like, you can't even comprehend or process it.
Yeah, life was back then, but it does resemble a lot of the Grand Canyon just by the views. There's a river that goes there that carved everything. But much like the Grand Canyon, I like the North Rim better. So the next day I went to North Rim. So that's by Crawford, Colorado, which is more of a farming town. Like, a lot of people haven't really heard of it, but you go down a dirt road to get there, maybe like 20 minutes. And then as soon as you get there, you get to a parking lot and a visitor center that's not occupied. And it's like the trail is yours. So it's like a 3-mile trail to to get there, to back, and yeah, you just have your own perch to yourself. It's not crowded at all. So yeah, like, it's not like the Grand Canyon, but it's a poor man's Grand Canyon, and it's still beautiful. I remember watching the swallows going down like fire jets, just being carried by the wind going through the canyon.
Oh, that's a cool way to describe it.
Oh, it was so cool. So Black Hand to Gunnison, like, if y'all are in western Colorado, that part of the world, even Moab, like, Moab's only an hour and a half from Grand Junction, so it's really not that much further from Black Canyon to Gunnison, at least the South Rim. If you're in that part of the world, it is highly worth visiting.
I remember you making a post about that specific park or national park.
Yeah.
And you were just reading the caption. You were just so moved by it. And I remember the photo was so epic. It was like you had the whole canyon to yourself. You're just perched on your little ledge.
Yep.
Just like, it's like it was just
closer that
just
should
for
have
me.
been.
I know, we always, as content creators, we try to be safe, but sometimes there's a certain shot where we push the limits a little bit.
Yeah. So I was celebrating my 32nd birthday weekend. So I was, close out 31 with a bang. That was really cool.
I always think that the greatest way, the most special way to celebrate your birthday is to gift yourself an outdoor adventure.
Treat yourself.
Yeah. Yep. It's something that'll make you reflect on your life and all the years and just ground you. You're so grateful in that moment when you bless yourself with a nature experience or an outdoor experience. So highly recommend that, y'all.
Yes.
It can be solo, with a friend, maybe a small group, but if you have never done that on your birthday, couldn't recommend it more.
Yeah, and going off that, there's actually a campground that if I return to, I'd want to stay at, that is like right next to the rim.
No way. Next to the rim?
Yeah, in the north rim. So I drove through it just to kind of scout it out, but it's also a dark sky community. So the skies are, there's nothing out there, so there's no pollution. So you can see the Milky Way and all that. So I'd love to camp there.
Yeah, I mean, the stargazing, that's a whole nother part of like outdoor recreation that is its own world.
Yep.
I'm really excited to keep following your journey in terms of all the different parks, national parks that you're going to keep going to. How many national parks are there in the country? Do you know?
Oh, gosh.
It's like 50 something or 40 something?
I thought it was 62.
Wow, okay.
But y'all can fact check me on that, but I thought it was 62.
Okay, just curious because there's quite a lot out there.
Yes.
So clearly you've gained tons of knowledge and experience from all your outdoor adventures, road trips, outdoor outings. And always on this show, I always have a segment where I just love asking the guests if they can share any outdoor tips. And especially in your case, like you do a lot of road tripping. Maybe any road trip outdoor advice or hiking hacks. If you can share any of those that have greatly helped you out personally on your journeys.
So roadies, it's like a science. Like, you first go on it and, maybe like you'll forget something, or, you don't get something that you need. And then over time you start to realize what you absolutely need, what you should get, what you should plan for. So really, it's trial by experience. So the more road trips you go on, the more prepared you are and the more seamless you are. So I was in Prescott, Arizona last week, and that was honestly like the most efficient trip I ever took. I took everything that I needed. I didn't forget anything, and it was awesome. But when I first started out, I was like, oh, well, I need hiking boots. Oh, I need a change of clothes. Oh, I didn't bring enough water. So segueing into that, you can never bring enough water, because we're 70% something water, so we absolutely need water. And if you get stranded, it's always nice to have water in case, you're in a hot place, and also food, protein.
Yes.
So for me, I tend to get low blood sugar sometimes. So having something like beef jerky or a protein bar is really important. And having an extra change of clothes. So shirt, socks, underwear, boxers, pants, shoes even. Like we will get into that later. There is an incident, but yeah, I would say food, water, and then a change of clothes are probably my 3 hacks.
And when you're doing these road trips, are you car camping? Are you setting up a tent, or like what's your style?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I go to Joshua Tree when the weather's cool, Black Rock Canyon Campground, and I'll car camp there because you can just drive right up to the site. But then there's places that I'll set up a tent. Like last year, Outdoor Adventure Plus, we took a backpacking trip to Mount San Jacinto, and so we set up a tent there at the campground. So it's a mix.
And then when you're actually out on the trails, is there any particular hiking hacks or outdoor tips that you want to share to the fellow trekkers out there that have helped you out?
Always let your loved ones know where you are, where you're going to go.
Very smart.
Yeah, your address, because you hear all the time of hikers that just go missing, and loved ones, your authorities aren't going to know where to find you. So yeah, always let them know where you are, where you plan on going. Because there was one incident. I was hiking in Mount San Jacinto. It was 2016. I was on spring break from college, and I had hiked there the previous year and gotten lost on the way down. But this particular time, I got lost on the way up. I took the tram. I was making great time. Got there, about 11. Then I was hiking on the trail to get there. But then I took a path that gave me a false summit. So that took a lot of time. So I had to slide down. But I was behind schedule at that point. So it was 10 to 5, and I got there, and I saw a couple that was going down. Looking back, I would have now gone with them. But I was like, no, you know what? I hiked all this way. I'm going to get there. And so I got to the summit about 10 minutes later, and my phone died when I was panning.
No.
Yeah. And so I was there till 5:30, and I was like, yeah, I know my way back. I got lost last year. I didn't get lost on the way back that time, but it got dark just enough to where I was looking around, because the terrain on San Jacinto is all rocky. So if there isn't enough light, they kind of look the same.
Yeah.
So then I looked back down, and I was like, uh-oh, I'm off the trail, and I didn't bring a flashlight. Bring a flashlight if you plan on night hiking. And so I was like, oh, okay. And mind you, I hadn't told my parents where I was going to be. They knew San Jacinto, but I didn't tell them the route that I was, going down. I was in some trouble, but I knew that the best thing for me to do was to find a high point to see where I was.
Smart.
So I hiked up some rocks, and this was March, so there was still snow on the ground. So I was looking, and I saw a peak that had some lights. That was probably the tram station, I assumed. And I thought for a split second, maybe I can sleep up here. It's not too cold.
Cowboy camp.
Yeah, cowboy camp. But no, it was gonna get late, or high 20s. So I was like, no. And then I thought about my parents, and I have epilepsy. So I haven't had a seizure in over 5 years, but I still have to be kind of careful. And that time I was not I had coffee, and the coffee had melted my meds. So I also had no meds. So I knew I had to get back down. So I hopped off the rock, and then I hit my shin against another rock. So I had to limp down, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to eventually hit something as I hike into the valley. And then finally I hit a wooden bridge, and I was like, all right, thank goodness. So then I go to the ranger station that's right there, and I start banging on the door because the light was on. And I don't know, if I'm a ranger, I don't know if I'd want to, answer.
Is that a bear?
Yeah. In retrospect, but no one answers, so I had to limp my way. And there's those long set of path that eventually takes you back to the tram station. So the last tram goes down at 9. I got there at 8:55, and people looked at me. I walked in as if they'd seen a ghost, and I was like, oh, can I use your phone? So I called my parents, and I'm like, hey guys, I'm all right.
Oh no.
And yeah, and my dad's like, your mother and I were about to send search and rescue for you. So I would have been on the news, people would have Googled my name. And
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, thank goodness. So I was, feeling pretty dehydrated and one of the ladies who worked as a custodian up there asked me if I was all right, and I said I was, but she knew I wasn't. So she was like, follow me to the gas station that's nearby. So I did, and she allowed me to like get a new phone and then use her phone to call my parents. And so I was like, oh, thank you. So I called them and I said I was gonna be staying at a Motel 6 that was nearby. And so I did do that right, where like I did tell my parents where I was gonna be, and my dad was just like, just stay there, chill. And so I did. And then the next morning at about 7, I get a call from my dad, like, hey, what room are you staying in? And I told him, and that was standard, you know, like I said before. And then 5 minutes later, I get this knock, and I'm like, oh gosh, was I being too loud? And I open it up, it's my dad. So
No way.
so he got Jack in the Box, so he got me a breakfast burger, coffee, and meds. And he's like, you know, your mom's gonna kill you when you get home, but let's savor this moment now. So
What a dad! That's awesome.
So we took a picture outside, and my car, like he helped me put in new coolant, and we drove home. And yeah, my mom ripped my ear off, but after that, I never did anything like that again. So last year, hiking up San Jacinto with the Out There Adventure Plus crew, it was sweet to me because I got back to the summit, but I was also safe. You know, I did it in a safe manner with people that I was with. So
a way different experience.
Way different, yeah. But to go back to my original point, always let people know where you're going to go, where you are, and then where you plan on going after, you know, where you hike.
Such a crucial point, Grant, that I also take to heart, and that I feel I do it pretty well or consistently. Me coming from an event organizing background, like, people have to realize, especially when you're going to these wilderness landscapes, mountain landscapes, like most of these places don't have any reception.
Yep.
Or if they do, it's like 1 bar or 2 bar, but it doesn't work for some reason. And so it's so important. It's like you have to think, like, once I step out here or drive on a certain road, like, would anyone even know like where I am?
Yep.
Like, you really have to think about these things, because simple accidents can happen on the trail, such as rolling your ankle and you have no reception. You can't get down the trail. You don't have a Garmin inReach or a satellite device, or maybe your phone doesn't have like connection to the satellite.
Yeah.
Like, it is such good practice. I would even say, like, even if you're going on some local hikes, like, hey, I'm going to this trailhead starting at this time. I should be back around this time, and apply that to when you go into your grander, bigger adventures. Also, you have to have a proper plan in place in case something happens.
Yes, because there's Murphy's Law is always at play. You know, what could go wrong may go wrong.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that story. You know, it's really important to share those stories where we find ourselves in spicy situations, precarious situations, or outdoor survival stories. Like, there was a lot of important takeaways that you mentioned in your story, from like, you got disoriented, you didn't know where you were, it was getting dark, you went on top of a rock to see a high point of the area so you could pinpoint, okay, this is where I am in relation to this area, there's the light, that might be the ranger station. Like, you did a lot of things, like, it felt like instinctually.
Absolutely.
And also, you brought up a good point too. Your phone died, and it sounds like you didn't have a backup charger.
Oh, but here's the thing too, is that magically my phone turned on.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and it was stuck on 1%, and it was like I was being punished because like I kept trying to call and it wasn't getting through, and it just kept flashing 1%, and I was just
that's cruel.
Yeah, but and things did turn out okay, and I really learned my lesson from that time to just don't push my wrist to just, you know, do. So for me now, like I'll go remote, but it's always nearby a city, or it's near, not off the trail. Don't go off the trail. You know, so it's not, it's remote, but it's not too far remote to where, you know, if something were to happen, people would, you know, find me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very smart way of understanding your bandwidth and limits.
Yes.
You know, like, sometimes you don't always got to go to the most remote of landscapes. Your anxiety just might spike up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Grant, so let's talk about this special journey you've been on, from being a solo trekker, solo explorer, to now being an outdoor activities coordinator for Outdoor Adventures Plus. Shout out to the fam, shout out to Juan, shout out to Rudy, shout out to Patty. Who else am I forgetting? Diego, shout outs to Diego, shout outs to you, and also to the prior people that were a part of the team, like Denise Graves,
Sam,
and there's probably other people I might be forgetting, but shout outs to you too. And you've just been going through this transition from exploring solo to being a part of this outdoor group, environmental group. You being in this new role with them the past several months, like what does that just mean to you from being a solo trekker to now hosting group hikes and group experiences?
It's an honor. Honestly, it's an honor because I really respect what Jonathan stands for, the man he is, his character, and what he's trying to do. So I was always a solo hiker, and then at the end of 23, I had a pretty rough breakup, and I was pretty hurt from that, and I knew that to heal, I should surround myself with new people, new friends that have new experiences, and that would expose me to new experiences. And so I didn't know how that opportunity would arise, but then it's like what you said earlier, how we met. So Ivan was flying into SoCal. It was February, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna be going to hike. You want to join me?" And I said, "Hell yeah!" And then Becca, I am Becca, one of the most talented photographers on Instagram.
Shout outs Becca.
Shout out Becca. She was gonna be there, so I was like, "All right, cool." So I didn't know anyone else. Like I didn't know you at the time, so I knew that like I would be a little uncomfortable because like around big crowds and people I didn't know, I do kind of tend to get uncomfortable.
Yeah,
But
social anxiety, it's
social
so
anxiety,
normal, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I wanted to see my friends, so it was the Star Wars.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. So you were collaborating with Jonathan at the time, and Jonathan Juan. He goes by both.
Yeah, both of us have
we
many.
call him Magic Juan.
That's a newer one, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a newer one.
Our nicknames have nicknames.
Yep. But I went there and I was really nervous. It was a very overcast day and I didn't know what to expect. And then I approached the desk where you were setting things up for the raffle, and you were so nice, and Juan was so nice. It made me feel at ease. And then I saw Ivan, and this is a hilarious story. So Ivan, I actually we met at Pete's Coffee that was nearby.
Okay.
And so, because I wanted to see him before the hike, and we were talking, and we both ordered something, and I got mine, and then he got his, or so I thought it was his. And so we were just drinking coffee, and then the barista's like, Ivan? And we just look at each other. So he grabbed someone else's drink, and I just told him, like, don't do anything. So Ivan, my bad for exposing. I feel like I had to tell that story, man. That was hilarious. But I did feel comfortable, like, seeing him. And it was so much fun. Like, the Just Trek family, the Out There Venture Plus family, there's good people. You could tell everyone was having a good time. And I got to meet a lot of friends that day. And I still, from that hike, I have a lot of friends. And I had a really good time. It exceeded my expectations. I was just there to meet Ivan and Becca, and I came away thinking, yeah, this is fun. Like, I'd love to do something else. So the next hike I went on, you were there too, was the 12 Peak Challenge.
Griffith Park.
Griffith Park, yeah.
That's right.
And that was grueling, but it was fun. It was hilarious because each peak, it was like less and less, people. But, Jonathan was there at the end, and I'm going to tell this story. So it was the last peak, and it was Jonathan and Rudy were there. They were the leads, and they just take off. And then it's a few of our other hikers. So there's Susie Salazar, her daughter, Anna, and then there's Santos. Shout out to Santos. He's the homie.
Cali Tanker.
Yeah, Cali Tanker. Big
Santos.
homie. And we're all together. And I had an Apple AirTag in my car. So I did that, and I was like, okay, it's this way. And I was going, and then we realized that we were going the wrong way. So we're like, oh, shoot. So we had to go back, and I thought those dudes took off because, man, Juan and Rudy, as soon as we're on the way back from hiking, you can vouch for this, all they're thinking about is food.
Tacos.
Tacos. That's all they think about. So I'm thinking, man, these dudes, man, they're already, eating. And I was just like, oh, my God. So I finally get signal, and I called them up on, Instagram, and I'm like, man, where are you guys? You left us here. And I was just like, oh my God. And then we see them running from up the trail, and they were like, oh man, like we were looking for you guys, we didn't work. And I was like, oh, okay, like my bad.
You came back to save us.
Don't listen to the voicemail. So we went out to eat. That was the first time I went out to eat with them after that, and we went to 86. I forget.
86 tacos, I think.
86 tacos, yeah. And that was dope. And so Santos was there, and then it was Rudy, Jonathan, and I, and we were just laughing about what happened. And that's when I was like, you know what, this is a family. Like, this is something that I can be a part of. And fast forward to the day, and I'm a lead with them. And we just had an event this past weekend, which we will get into. But it's been an absolute honor. I really respect what Jonathan's built, what he stands for. And yeah, I mean, it's an absolute honor.
And your first group hike, you remember which one you did, the trail?
It was the Santa Susana Mountains.
That you hosted, right?
That I hosted. It was the Turtle Rock hike.
And how did it feel to guide your first group hike on behalf of Outdoor Adventures Plus? I always wanted to know what went through your mind and like that feeling.
Yeah. Well, it was an honor to me because I got to have my sister come along. So my sister is in the process of becoming a yoga teacher. She had to go through a course. She had to put in like community hours and stuff. And so I had told her back when I became the lead, hey, you know, like I'll try to host a group hike and we can incorporate a yoga session. And so the time came, and you know, I asked her if she wanted to do it. She was available on Saturday, and she was like, yeah, for sure. So her and I, the weekend before, we scouted and we practiced the poses that she was going to do. And then the day of, we got there, but it was overcast, so we were worried that it was going to rain. Thankfully, the clouds lit up, but I had friends that came there, like Steph
Yep.
rocks.
Shout out to
She's
Steph
a real
Rocks.
one. Yeah, she's a real one. And then Kat. That's our greeting.
Cats.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kat.
Cats is a very memorable,
Yes.
a very memorable person.
A very memorable person. So that was among the people that came. So I just felt comfortable because I knew them, and it was awesome seeing them talk with my sister. Because my sister, I hadn't opened her up to my world like that. So just her being able to make friends with them, it was really special. So we had a yoga session that was like 15 minutes, and everyone was going there and trying it, including me. And then after that, we took a loop trail, and it was really cool. Baldy, you can see Baldy, and it was green, the grass was green, and everyone was talking, getting to know each other, and I felt like it was a success. It was an honor.
It's interesting being on the flip side, right? Not just
Yeah.
following and tagging along, but now you're guiding, you're curating experience, being
Yeah.
welcoming,
Yep.
also making sure people are safe and having a good time.
It was a great learning experience too, and I just got to know what you guys go through when you host your hike, and that's what I learned from. I learned from you because I've been to my share of your group hikes, and then Jonathan, I've gone to a few of LA Trail Killers. Shout out to Vic, he's a real one.
Vic of Earth.
Yes, so I got to learn from you guys. You guys set the example for me, like, oh, okay, like I should approach things like this, or I should lead like this. So by the time I hosted my hike, I was ready to go.
Yeah, that's because at the end of the day, the way you guide or host, you get inspiration from different
Yes.
community leads and organizers. You see like, okay, I like that. Maybe I'll incorporate that into my style or how I go about organizing things. So I know we're biased, but I think you learned from some of the best. And to go back to the trail where we first met, which was the collaboration between Just Trek and Outdoor Adventures Plus. The event was entitled This Is the Way. It was the Star Wars The Mandalorian group hike. We recently hosted our conclusion of that trilogy because we've been doing it for 3 years for now. And you got to return to the trail where that magic first happened of that first group hike of last year. How did it feel to return to the Rocky Peak Summit Trail, now full circle, you being a part of the Outdoor Adventures Plus team and just being at the trail that was like a major shift in your outdoor journey when Ivan brought you along?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. It was like a full circle moment, just seeing how far it came. Like that morning when I woke up for the 4-year, never in my wildest dreams would I have expected to be where I was by the time the 5th one came. So that day, it was overcast, so
just like the last year.
Yeah, just like the last year. So it was like, a lot of similarities, and there was, a new group of people. So
New faces, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was cool because it means that we're having new people come in and experience it, and I feel like there might be one person from that group that maybe would gain inspiration. That pigeon wouldn't gain inspiration. But yeah, I thought that that someone could become a trail lead eventually, like I did. All it takes is one experience. Like I came away from the 4-year thinking this is a great time, and it just inspired me to keep going. And yeah, by the time I was at the 5th anniversary one, it was I was a lead, and We went out to lunch after that, and we shared a lot of laughs that time. It was Warren, you, Matt.
That's right, yeah. Machete Matt, Just
Machete
Trek
Matt,
Crew.
he's a different animal, man. That dude, he does so much extreme stuff, but
He has no chill.
no chill. But yeah, just being there, I was just like, wow, like I have brothers, like I have family members, guys that like I love. Yeah, so it was just a full circle moment.
And also, I want to mention when I did first meet you last year when Ivan brought you in that first Star Wars The Mandalorian group hike, or I think that was the second installation. When you started speaking, I recognized your voice, and I was like, I think he was a previous guest on Ivan's podcast. And I was like, this is the guy from the OC.
Yeah.
So I think I brought it up to him, like,
You
were
did.
you on Ivan's podcast? You're like, yeah. And as you kept talking, I'm like, I was replaying in my head
Yeah.
the stories in your voice when you had that episode with him. So I thought that was really
Yeah.
cool.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was Ivan's second ever guest.
Wow.
Yeah, like,
OG.
Yeah, like his first ever guest, like she is no longer around on Instagram. So just seeing where I am as his second ever guest, that I'm still around, like it's amazing. Just seeing his growth with his podcast, like I have so much respect for him. He's brought so many wonderful people onto his podcast, but I really appreciate Ivan because he gave me the platform to, put myself out there to,
Yeah, early on.
yeah, to have people get to know me, and it's a memory that I'll share with my parents forever. Like, I shared the episode with my parents, and I was there, and they listened to it. My mom was just so proud. She was like,
That's so cool.
Yeah, she was like, I didn't know you had this side to you. Like, it was probably like one of the most proud that she ever sounded to me, and I was like, wow, like I was humbled by that. So, shout out to Ivan for giving me the opportunity, and then I came back on his show last year. But yeah, I was a second ever guest, and I was just so grateful for that.
That's really interesting what you just mentioned about your mom listening to your episode, them seeing a different part of you, a more intimate side, like in a different way, because you're not going to be talking about these things and explaining them the way they are with them, but with this other person, with this host. I actually had that experience too when...
With your parents?
Yeah, like I've been on a handful of podcasts, including Ivan's, and my mom and dad have listened to a few, and they're like, wow, Justin, I didn't know you were going through that or you felt this way. Because, in some of these episodes that we're on, we open up about certain things a little bit more than we typically do.
Yeah, you're able to be vulnerable.
Correct, yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, which is, I think, very important, especially for men to be able to support each other.
Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
That's right. It still is.
Still is.
Ready for road trip freedom? Hit the road with Road Surfer, the premium camper van rental company available in Europe and now across North America. Skip the hotels, rent a fully equipped camper van, and choose from 4 unique van models built for every kind of traveler. From the Couple Condo, which is cozy and compact, perfect for 2. The Horizon Hopper, which is nimble and efficient, ideal for spontaneous adventures. The Liberty Lodge, which has a pop-up roof, great for small families and friends. And the Family Freedom, your deluxe home on wheels, complete with a full bedroom, bath, and indoor shower. I personally used the Liberty Lodge with one of my best friends on a recent road trip up to Yosemite National Park and to the Eastern Sierras, which is California's prized mountain range. It was a road trip for the books where we explored some of the most scenic trails that California had to offer, met up with outdoor friends along the way, and jumped into countless alpine lakes. Waking up in the pop-up roof tent to the sights and sounds of nature in our own camper van is an experience I'll never forget. To help get you out there, use our promo code JUSTTREK for 11% off your next road trip adventure. Code is valid until September 30th and only for the North American stations in the US and Canada. Book now at roadsurfer.com and experience the freedom of van life your way. All right, I now want to touch upon another and more recent evolution in your outdoor journey. You are now a certified California naturalist.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very proud of seeing that transition, another shift.
Yep.
What inspired you to attain this certification, and which program did you take?
So Jonathan inspired me, and in January, us leads, we took a hiking trip to the Southern Sierra. So we hiked the trail that was by the Kern River, and on the way back, he just randomly goes, "Hey, why haven't you, taken a naturalist course yet?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And then he's like, "Yeah, like there's like maybe half a dozen courses that are offered. I think you'd be a natural at it." And So I was like, yeah, okay. I kind of took it with a grain of salt. And um, one of the goals I set each year is to do something new that, you know, pushes me outside my comfort zone or that helps educate me, like something new. And so I was thinking about one night, and I was like, you know what, like, yeah, I'm gonna become a naturalist. I'm gonna go see. And so I looked at certain courses, and there were a lot that were out of my area because most of it is like virtual, like over Zoom, but then there's also some field trips you got to go on. So the closest one was a Mojave Desert feature course, but it was full. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll wait till next year. But a couple days later, 2 spots opened up, and I grabbed one, and I was in the course. And it was hosted by Transition Habitat Conservancy, so they are awesome. So what they do is conserve the Mojave Desert, and they'll buy up land through their trust. So they'll like approach homeowners in the area, and they'll, you know, get them to hopefully sell their property, and then
That's so
they'll
cool.
yeah. So they've millions and millions of acres in the Mojave, but it was their first time hosting this course. And Sarah Berryman, she is the director of conservation for them. She is amazing. She was the professor, and she had never done it before, so she was just kind of winging it. But it was so awesome because I got to learn about the fauna of California, not just the Mojave Desert, but also of California, the topography, the different types of wildlife, the different types of habitats. I learned way more than I could have, and I came away from that course not just learning new knowledge, but also making new friends, making new connections. Like, we had so many memories. Like the last field trip we went on the Mojave Trails Park, and we saw a bald eagle. And
No
mind you,
way.
this is like in the desert. This is like Hesperia. Like, you know, bald eagles aren't supposed to be
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but there's a lake there, and the bald eagle was just, you know, chilling in the tree on the lake, and I was like, holy cow! Like like I'd seen bald eagles, but I'd never seen one that was like had the white, you know, crown. That was a mature bald eagle. So we had, you know, that memory. One time we went, there was a desert tourist hotspot in the Mojave, and so, you know, we were gonna go look to see if we can sell one, and we found one. And we got to see members of the Conservancy, and then another agency called Save the Slowpokes. Shout out to them.
Slave the Slowpokes?
Save the Slowpokes. Yeah, and we got to see, you know, the scientists studying this turtle, studying the rings on the shells, predicting how old it was, and it was untagged. So, you know, it got tagged, made sure it was healthy, gave it a name, and I got to see all that unfold. You know, this is like something that you learn in textbooks. You see it happen in person. I was like, wow, this is amazing. So that course was $300, but I'm telling y'all, it is worth every penny, every penny. So shout out to Jonathan. Thank you, man, for looking out for me. It was one of the best life decisions I ever made taking that course.
Wow, what a
Yeah.
statement.
Yeah. And shout out to Sarah Berryman and the rest of Transition Habitat Conservancy. They're great people doing great things.
Is there any particular favorite flora or fauna that you love to observe?
So in my home in Mount Laguna, we will get into that. I hike there daily, and there's a couple of flowers that I've really identified, like lupines are
I love
associated,
lupines, yeah,
with
yeah.
like high alpine, lush mountains, Alaska type of stuff. But we have them at our home mountains too, and they're called the grape soda lupine. And I just think that's just the coolest name, but they're still blooming up there. But yeah, so we got lupines, and then another one is called the Colorado 4 o'clock. And they're found in Colorado, they're found in like California, like all the western states. But the cool thing about them is that it's literally in their name. Like their petals start, you know, blooming at around 4 o'clock, 5
Huh.
o'clock, like during the day. And then by the morning, they like, you know, close up again. So those are two ones that I'm like, okay, these are cool. They're right at home. And then one honorable mention is called the Indian blanket. It's called the Gaillardia. That's its scientific name, and it's just such a beautiful flower. It's like red and yellow, and I have some at my other house that I used to live in OC that bloom. They're annual, so they bloom every year, and they're just such beautiful flowers. So I had to give that an honorable mention.
It's so cool to see you speak like this. Like, I
Yeah.
just feel like now when you explore your trails, local environment, like, it's just a whole different experience now.
Since taking the course, yeah. So now I'm like alert, thinking, oh wow, hey, I am in a oak oak woodland Joshua tree habitat, or oh, I'm in a riparian habitat, or oh, I'm in a alpine habitat. So now taking the course, I'm more in tune with the nature that's around me.
It's as if like we were in your brain and you're like scanning the environment. It's like analyzing, processing, okay, this is that tree, this is
Yeah.
that wildlife, this
Yep.
is the Latin genus name, this is
Yeah.
the species.
Well, I don't know the Latin. I mean, those are hard. We learned about that too, but I was like, I'm gonna be honest. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm not gonna remember those.
That's a lot to remember. That's a lot of extra work, I
Yeah,
would say. I feel like you'll never get through the trails now because you're just
Yeah.
gonna be stopping and observing, stopping and
But
observing.
that's okay though, because
Yeah,
like to
absolutely.
me, hiking isn't about like rushing through. Like I used to just be like, okay, I got done with that hike, like. Now, but it's about being mindful, taking everything in. Like it's a spiritual experience going out hiking. You know, it's so beneficial for your mental health. You know, you take in the smells, take in the sights, hear the birds. Like it just detaches your mind from all the anxiety you're feeling, from your depression, and you just kind of get engulfed in, you know, everything that's around. It's a magical experience.
Yes, it's important as we get deeper into our outdoor journey to learn to slow down, to be more
Yes.
mindful and observant. Like, yes, it's so easy to get caught up when you get into hiking to bag the peaks. I mean, I still love bagging the peaks, but you know, you've noticed in me too, like the past year and a half, 2 years, you know, it's not about doing the hardest thing, the steepest thing, the tallest thing. It's about doing a cool trail that has a lot to offer and then observing what plants reside here, what are growing, what kinds of wildlife, what kinds of birds are in the trees, like what else is out there if you look closer. It's
The
a whole
local
new
trails.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your own backyard, you're walking
Yeah.
in your neighborhood on this. Look at the trees that are lined in the street. What do they have there? Jacarandas,
Yes.
oaks, sycamores. There's so many.
We got sycamore right behind us.
Oh, we do. There you
Yeah.
go. Shout out to the sycamore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can always tell the sycamore because of its particular bark, right?
Yes,
The
yes.
different layers of gray, I would
Yep.
say. And recently, we touched upon it earlier, but I would love for you to speak about your recent monarch butterfly migration experience project. I know that sounds like a mouthful. Like, what was that all about?
Yeah, so that was this past weekend. That was an event that I hosted on behalf of Outdoor Venture Plus, but Transition Habitat Conservancy put it together. So the monarch butterfly population has gone through a steady decline, and it's really important that they survive because they pollinate so many different things. So one of the activities that we did was each one of us was given one milkweed plant, although Patty, shout out to Patty, we were both given two. So milkweed is the plant that butterflies need to survive. So we got a demonstration from one of the Transition Habitat Conservancy members on how to plant it, how to water it, what type of environment. So it was cool that we got to learn how we can help the monarch butterfly population because they are undergoing their migration right now. So they come from Mexico and they work their way up. And I was down in my part of the world, San Diego County, a couple days ago, and I saw one in the middle of the city. So I was like, okay, so yeah, like they're around. But there was more to the event than that. Like they had pamphlets on the type of local butterflies. They had facts about the monarch. They had facts about the milkweed. And then we saw a couple monarchs in their cocoon. And then we saw a couple in another mesh cage. We saw a couple caterpillars. So we got to see the monarchs in their stage, you know, how or eventually they'll become a butterfly. There were other exhibits where there was a rosy boa snake. There was a baby desert tortoise. There was a California king snake. There was a taxidermy turkey vulture. So there were people that attended that probably hadn't really been to an event like that before. Like it was in the high desert, so a lot of people, you know, weren't really exposed to that. So just them going and seeing, wow, this is in the world. Wow, like we have butterflies, like we have turtles. What? Like, so I just love events like that because it helps educate the public on, you know, wildlife and helps encourage future stewards of nature. So the more stewards of nature that we have, the better prospects our future is. So we also took a hike on their property. So it was like their headquarters, and they have a series of trails throughout their land. And so we took a guided hike, and a couple of my classmates were there. So two of my classmates, Wes, shout out to Wes, one of the coolest dudes ever, and then Allie, she's good people. So they were two of my classmates, and they work with the transition habitat, and they were leading the hike. So I was seeing them identify native organisms like Joshua trees, shoulder jointed cacti, and then, short jointed beaver tail cacti. I gotta remember that.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, and then some milkweeds that they planted. So just seeing them in their element, thinking like, yeah, we learned about this. Yeah, like I was so proud of them, and I was so happy that Patty got to meet, my classmates, and they were warm to her, very nice. So just seeing those worlds collide, like the Outdoor Adventure Plus and Transition Habitat. And for those of you that are interested in attending, they have an event July 19th from 7 to 10 p.m. It's called Moth Night. So they're going to basically at their Portal Ridge, which is it's in the Antelope Valley. They're going to have a light, and there's going to be a sheet, and we're going to see what moths fly onto, and we're going to be able to ID the types of moths. So that's their next event. I'm going to go. If y'all are interested, DM me, or Transition Habitat Conservancy. That's their handle.
Very cool.
I had to plug them. They're awesome. I had to plug them.
Plug whoever you want to plug,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah.
To go back to the Monarch butterfly, it's such a strikingly beautiful butterfly because it's orange and black.
Yeah.
So the contrast is very it hits you in the face.
Yeah.
I remember one time I was doing Sandstone Peak, my favorite trail of all time.
I still have yet to hike.
There was a lot of overgrown brush. I think it was the invasive black mustards.
Yeah.
Then out of the blue, a big group of monarch butterflies just came up
Wow.
behind me, and my friend took a photo, and my hands were like this, and it looked like I summoned them.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, that was when I started to pay attention to them more. I'm like,
Was
what
this when you were like just Trek, or this was pre?
Ooh, man, this was around 2018, 2019, so I don't know if I started Just Trek yet, but it was like, I'll have to show you the photo. I definitely posted it either on my Just Trek account or Just Rock. And it was just like, I always remember that image because it was just so different than my other photos,
Okay, I'm gonna give another sneak peek. For your story, was that as you had said that Sandstone Peak helped bring you out of your depression? Was that on the same hike?
Oh no, this was on a separate. This was a separate time.
Okay, then y'all gotta read it. Yeah.
There you go. All right, Grant. Let's go back again to Outdoor Adventures Plus and reminisce about a most special camping trip we both got to experience in celebration of their 5-year anniversary. It was along the Central Coast, and we camped at Montaña del Oro State Park. What were some of the highlights that you can share from that trip? Because so much happened, and that was my first time to the Central Coast. Yeah.
Oh.
Juan's always trying to get me out to all the camping trips, and I'm one of those people it's hard to get out sometimes outside of SoCal. I like to do it every once in a while, but he always would hype up the Central Coast, how it was so different.
Because that's his coast. He's from Bakersfield.
Exactly. He has a lot more in-depth knowledge, local knowledge of that area. And wow, I still haven't even been able to post about that trip yet, and I wanted to, but it was like in the middle of me planning for the Just Trek podcast 5-year anniversary celebration because I was super stressed out. But that trip was literally a few weeks before that anniversary event, and it was just such an incredible way to decompress, see a new landscape along the coast that was just so mind-blowing.
Definitely.
But it was really cool, especially because I got to bond with you more and more of the Outdoor Adventure Plus fam that I've been such a big supporter, and Juan has been, Juan or Jonathan, how we refer to him, big brother to both of us. So it was really awesome to celebrate a half a decade mark with him and you all. But what were some of your highlights from that trip that you remember that you would love to share?
So I had a transformative moment that happened on that trip. So I actually picked up Kat because we live close by each other. So we drove up there, and we got there at nightfall, and along the way, one of her loved ones works for a dispensary. So she had like it was Reese's edibles. And she was like, I'm not going to have them, but you can have them. So she thought I would take them at night, but we got there, at nightfall, and I actually car camped because I didn't want to set up my tent. But that morning, I woke up, and you guys had a kayaking trip planned. And I knew I wasn't going to go kayaking, so I went and took the edibles because I wanted to feel good. I took 3 of them, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to feel good. I'm going to go hike. But then when we got to the dock, it was like everybody was going, and I just had this 10-second moment of courage that I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna do it too.
Yeah.
I felt invincible 'cause I was on them edibles, and I was the first one to go in, so I put my life jacket on, and I was like, okay, this is fine. And then he gave me the paddle, and I went like this, but it was way heavier than I thought.
Yeah.
So then I overcorrected, and so that caused me a tilt, and then I went into Morro Bay, and it's like my mind went back in time to when I was in high school when I get bullied. I thought when I get back to the surface, I'd have people like laughing at me, making fun of me, and then as soon as I rose my head up, people were like concerned and like, oh, are you okay? And that like immediately like eased my anxiety, and I just like, all right, let's get out of the water. And then I got pulled up by the worker, and then I turned around and I just took some deep breaths, like, hey, you're okay. And then checked my phone, it was fine. My wallet was still in my pocket. I had my hat still, and then I was like, okay, where's the kayak? And then the kayak had turned upside down, but by some miracle, my backpack was still in there. And I was just like looking, I'm like, okay, everything's fine, nothing's bad. And this is where earlier I said, have a clean change of clothes. So even though I knew I wasn't gonna go in the kayak, I still thought, you know what, like I should bring a clean change of clothes. So I went back to my car and, excuse me, I had a shirt, pants, boxers, socks, and shoes. I even brought shoes, so
The
I
whole
went
set.
Yeah, but very vital set. So I went back to the car and I just like got privacy, and I stripped, and then I changed. So I got back to the dock, and a couple other people were there, and I just pulled up a chair, and I was dry. I mean, my hair was still wet, but I was dry, and I just laid out the stuff in my backpack out, and everything was fine. Nothing bad happened. My phone still worked. I still have my wallet, my keys. And I just felt so grateful that I had people that were supportive, that didn't make fun of me. And that's when I knew that it was a family. And I gotta say, you shared the kayak with Santos. And
Oh my gosh. That was its own experience.
Can I?
Yeah, you can absolutely share.
Okay. Or no, you share it.
Yeah, so what Grant is referring to, this is my first time ever kayaking. This is Santos on Instagram. He goes by Cali Tanker. His first time ever kayaking, and we were both in the same boat. It was a tandem, 2 people. And I was just like, let's see how this goes, because we both never done this.
Because they are way different sizes.
Yeah, we're way different sized people. So we first got into the boat, and I was like, and mind you, we just saw Grant fall in. So a lot of us are all like, is that gonna be us now?
Yeah.
Like, is that gonna happen to us? So we're all on like high edge, high alert. And me and Santos trying to get our rhythm, our technique. We're following everyone in the kayaks. We're going closer to Morro Bay. We're going further out into the bay. We're seeing otters pop up. That was so special. We were told not to get too close, just to observe. And it was just like the most majestic outdoor experience I had in a long time, because it was just different. I'd never kayaked before.
Yeah.
And then some funny things happened along the way. Like me and Santos, at certain times, we're not on the same page with our rowing technique, that he actually hit me in the back of the head.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. And I was like, what are you doing, man? And that caused me to kind of rock the boat a little bit. And I thought we were going to fall in at that point. And then there was another point where we hit one of the buoys, or one of the white buoy.
Out.
Yeah, white buoy items out in the water. And I thought we were going to fall in too. But I think what Grant is referring to, the very humorous part was, so it was time to go back to the dock, and we have to paddle back. And there's certain like slot sections that you have to paddle to and position yourself, and we could never get the damn thing right. Every time we tried to pull into the actual slot, we would crash into the side of the dock, and we would loop all the way around again.
Yeah, they would loop around. So when I get back
share
to
this part.
Yeah, when I get back to the dock, like they're like looping around. I was like, oh, all right, Justin. Yeah, you guys are going back out. You're having a great time. Yeah, all right. And he's like, no, man, like we're trying to get back. So like they loop around. And then they get back to the dock, and they're like going straight toward the dock.
Beeline.
Yeah, beeline. And then he's like, Santa, he's like, stop. And then I had to like grab him and pull him, and you were grabbed by someone. So finally, y'all, like, you just didn't even go back to we had to like pull you.
It was a whole search and rescue operation.
Yeah.
Like the attendant, the operator was like, okay, we're just gonna do this, pull up to the side.
He was a very nice guy.
Yeah, he was super cool.
Yeah,
He was like, we're just gonna pull you up. And even like pulling me out and pulling Santos looked super dramatic, more so than it needed to be.
Yeah, like, shout out to Santos.
What a memorable first kayaking experience.
Yeah.
And to go back to that incident where you fell into the water. It was so shocking. I just want to share from my perspective
Please
because
do, yeah.
you just told me like, no, I'm definitely not going to go. You guys do your thing. We were sitting on the same bench when you said I'm not going to do it. And then literally 5 minutes later, we're all like listening to the guide, the operator, and then you go up first. And I was like, oh, dope. He said, F it, let's just go all out and forget what I said. Like, I'm gonna go out first and have this experience, and
YOLO.
then you YOLO'd, and then you had
Yep.
that incident where you flipped over. But it really was special how you expressed yourself afterwards about the bullying thing and how we weren't like making fun of you, pointing at you, or like making you feel like worse than you might have felt. And I really felt that when you said that because I was actually bullied a lot also in school. I was like one of the only like minorities in my school. I was also shorter.
Baltimore.
Yeah, so I really felt that when you said that. I was like, damn. Like, I'm glad that he felt like that. I'm glad that he felt safe because, those experiences that we have in our youth, those traumatize us for
Yeah.
like up into like our current, how we feel now. So I'm really happy that you expressed yourself and felt comfortable and felt vulnerable to be like, hey guys, like that really meant a lot. And even on that trip in general, I felt you just opened up to a lot of us more. And I had a lot of respect for that because
Yeah.
that's not something easy to do unless you feel you're in the right environment.
And it's not easy for men to open up because society, even today, is like, oh, you got to toughen up. You just suck it up. And so I felt safe in that group to where I could open up. I knew I wasn't going to be judged. So just having that moment, it could have derailed my entire trip.
Oh, yeah.
But thankfully, like nothing bad happened, and I didn't take any edibles after that. Yeah, I learned my lesson there.
Yeah, you live and learn, man.
Yeah, next
That's so
time I'm gonna
funny.
share the kayak with someone. I don't know if I'm gonna share it with Santos, but I'll share it with somebody.
Yeah, man, there's the edibles can make the outdoor experiences much more adventurous.
Yes, adventurous. That's a good way to put it.
And something that I remembered from the Central Coast Montaña del Oro State Park camping
Yes.
trip that is just replays over in my mind. I think is hilarious. It also involves Santos, Cali Tanker, is the raccoon bandits at camp.
Yeah.
They were relentless.
Yeah.
It was like a pair of them constantly like eyeing our food. Like whenever we would go away, they would come back. We would shoo them away. They would come back. And I didn't realize that that campsite was so notorious for that actually at the visitor center, they have raccoon hats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's how like prominent they are
wow.
there.
I did not know that.
And I think where we stayed was Islay Creek Campground, and it was right next to like a 5-minute walk to this dramatic beach with dramatic like massive rock formations
Yeah,
that
we
you
went
could
to
like
see
scramble.
the sunset. We were together, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that first night that we came in, we went to the beach for sunset, and I scrambled on top of that huge rock on top, and I was already
and you
blown
went in
away.
a cave. There was a cave.
Yeah, there was a cove cave off to the side.
Yeah.
And I was getting worried because the high tide was kind of like seeping in.
Yeah, yeah.
So you start like running out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was that part of the coast, the Central Coast, seems like a dreamland for naturalists.
Yeah.
Because I remember you also went on a side quest adventure and went to explore elephant seals?
Yeah, so we took a group hike after the kayaking experience, and then we went to inside Cambria to go get something to eat, and I was asking people if they wanted to go up to San Simeon State Beach, where that was a popular spot for elephant seals to bask. And I was asking people, and Kat said she wanted to go. So I was like, all right, cool. So we drove up there, and mind you, like I had been there before, but she had never been there before. She'd never seen elephant seals. So like a week before, I was literally watching Planet Earth, and I was like watching the elephant seals. Like so there's like northern elephant seals that are, towards like Alaska and that part, and then there's southern elephant seals. And so that was the southern elephant seals. So I went to the parking lot, we got there, and then we walked out to the boardwalk, and then there they were, and it was just awesome seeing Kat go like, oh wow, like this is amazing, like seeing her face just like open up, and kind of you can see like the little kid in her, and that's why I love these group hikes, bringing people into nature, exposing them to things that they've never seen before. I mean, hopefully, she just took a road trip up up the coast. She went to like Mount Shasta, I think. Like she went
I'm
north.
so jealous. I've always wanted to go to that area.
So I was like, we went to a place, San Simeon, that she had never been before, and probably inspired her to like take her own hike. So that's what I love about it. But yeah, it's so cool seeing the elephant seals because they're all shapes and sizes, all different. You know, they're very they have a personality. They'll like make noises or splash each other with sand and stuff. But just seeing these animals that you watch on TV in these nature series and seeing it in person, it was really cool. So yeah, we had that little side quest.
How do they look different than a regular seal? Like, why are they elephant seals? Like, is this a
Yeah.
particular feature on their body?
Way bigger, and then their snouts, they have giant snouts.
Ah, that's right.
Yeah,
I do
but
remember
they're
that.
way bigger in size.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember when y'all went on that side quest adventure. I kind of wanted to go too, but I think I just stayed with the group and
Yeah.
I forgot what trail
Y'all
we
have
did.
food coma, man.
That was probably it. Yeah, because we did a lot on that trip from
Yeah.
like naturalist walks,
Yeah.
kayaking, to going into town, to
Tide
doing
pool.
tide pools, to
Yeah.
doing trails along the bluff,
Yeah.
observing the egrets jumping off the cliffs. Like there were
Yeah,
so
yeah.
many cool like moments
Yeah.
during that trip. But yeah, just to close the loop on the Central Coast, the Outdoor Adventure Plus 5-year anniversary, like trips like that really reinvigorate my soul.
Yep.
You know, like,
100%.
and it's even more special. It wasn't a big group. It was maybe like
A
10 of
dozen.
us.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, you don't need like massive groups to enjoy these places. Like,
Yeah. That
I
kind of
enjoy-
takes away from the experience, I feel like.
I enjoy the smaller groups because
Yeah.
it's much more intimate. You can
Intimate.
have more in-depth, intentional conversations with each other, and also to the point of the bigger ones and more people. Those are really fun too because you get to meet more people.
Yeah, there's a place
new
for 'em.
energy. But
Yeah.
I think with this particular camping trip, I was really happy with the people that were there and what we were celebrating. You know, what you represent, you know, you being an ambassador, being a coordinator, and what Jonathan Juan Flores has built with Outdoor Adventure Plus. He's both of our big bros. It's just really beautiful to be there celebrating something that he's
Absolutely.
been building up for so long.
And if
5
I
years is a
can-
long time.
It is, and if I can bring up another story, the last day we went on that that hike to where Morro Bay, where that riparian woodland is.
Yeah, where there was like the platform, the
Yeah, the
boardwalk
platform. Yeah, so Outdoor Adventure Plus and Just Trek, there's a lot of minorities in the group.
Yes.
And so I am a minority, you know. in that-
You're the
in that
minority in
group.
the
Yeah, they anointed me Napoleon in favor of Napoleon Dynamite because you know he
Oh
had
my
like, a
gosh.
stand for- yeah.
Yeah,
so-
okay.
Yeah, but what stuck out at me from that hike is that everyone was like going on the boardwalk, and you know Jonathan was like pointing things out. But on the way back, we saw a grandfather with his granddaughter, and the granddaughter was like really excited, talking to us, and you know like didn't really care about her skin color. And Kat really likes to like collect flowers and make them into like bookmarks or you know,
Ornaments.
yeah, and things like that. And she went and gave the granddaughter one. It was a pink flower, and she was so excited. She was so thankful, and the grandfather was like, "What do you say?" And she's like, "Thank you." And just seeing that, it's like nature's awesome because you're not discriminated against. You know, everyone's equal. You know, we're all enjoying the beauty, and there's no skin colors because you're seeing it in society, especially with this administration. You know how prejudiced they are against Hispanics, and then you know we see a Hispanic woman giving a little trinket to a white girl, and it just was such a powerful moment because it just goes to show that nature, the beauty, it just transcends race.
Wow. In nature, you can be your true self,
Yes.
your raw self.
Raw self.
It doesn't matter. We don't see colors
Nope.
out of nature. We just see everyday humans, you know, trying to be present and be there for one another.
Yes. So shout out the cat.
Dude, that was a great story you just shared. Thank you for bringing that up because I remembered that exact moment.
Yeah.
What a way to cap off that trip because that was
Yeah, that was
literally
the end.
That was literally the end.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, that's a trip for the books, and I definitely will be returning back once
Well,
again.
I'd love to do another one. So, you know, Jonathan Juan, Magic Wand. You know,
Magic Wand.
Magic Wand. So we got to do that, something like that again for sure.
For sure. All right, let's transport ourselves out from the Central Coast and head down to San Diego County to the eastern edge of the Cleveland National Forest,
Yes.
where your new home resides in Mount Laguna.
Mount Laguna. Yeah. So,
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, 1 second. What inspired this move from Orange County to Mount Laguna, and just how has that transition been thus far for you and your new environment?
yeah, so I'll give you the background how I discovered Mount Laguna. So I'd been going there since 2021. That was actually toward the beginning of my gallivanting days. Like I create a vlog video for my time there, and so during the pandemic, like I said, there wasn't a lot to do. So I went on Google Maps and would just try to look places. And then I see this green patch in eastern San Diego County, eastern Cleveland. So what's that? And then I see Mount Laguna. I'm like, oh, I might as well go there. I was trying to find new places. So I drove there, and it was really cool just being among it's a forest full of Jeffrey pines and black oaks. And my part of Cleveland National Forest in Orange County, we didn't have pine trees. We had like oaks, sycamores, and so seeing this new world, this is really cool. And so I would take one of my exes there, and one time we were driving through and we see tiny house block, and she's like, what's that? And I was like, I don't know. And so on the way back, she's looking at their website, and she's like, oh, there's places that we can stay. So I made a reel on it, and then the project manager of the community reached out to me, DM me, is like, hey, we saw that you created a reel of our tiny house block. We'd love to work with you.
Nice.
So yeah. So that's the perks of content creating, is that you gain these partnerships. And so I would create content for them, and then I would stay, at the tiny house for free. In exchange for me like taking videos and profiling and pointing out, what each tiny house had. So I stayed in quite a few tiny houses over time, and after that relationship ended, I went on a hike with her. Her name's Natalie. I went on a hike with her, and she's like, hey, when are you gonna move up here? And it wasn't the right time for me to, and I was like, I want to, I'm not sure. And this happened a couple more times. Like my last job, I worked in the office 1 day a week, so this was like October, and she was like, hey, you can move up here now. And then they changed it to 3 days a week, so the stars weren't aligning. And then I left my last job in April, and that's when I just had this, epiphany, like, I don't want to wait until like I'm in my 60s to go and chase my dream. Like, my dream was to live in a tiny house in the mountains. So I was like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna do it. So I went to visit her up there, and there happened to be 2 tiny houses that were available. And I didn't like one of them, but the second one that I'm at now, I just was like, you know what, this is really cool. So in May, I moved up there, and going from the transition, it's been really good. Like, luckily I had my parents to help me, so my mom would gave me supplies, and then my dad helped me move my boxes. And the sense of community up there is really nice, because it's a small town. Like, there's anywhere from 60 to 120 people.
I was curious about the population. Yeah.
It's not that much. Like, I've had this struggle with a couple people lately where I tell them, like, oh, I'm in Mount Laguna, and I had a woman tell me just yesterday. She was like, oh, I think I've taken that to get to Laguna Beach.
Oh my goodness.
And I was like, well, Laguna Beach is nice, but that's not totally different part of the world. So I just tell people I'm in a mountain town an hour east of San Diego. But what I love about Mount Laguna is that there's nothing commercial. Like Big Bear, oh my gosh, you have ski resorts, grocery stores, you name it. Mount Laguna, no. Like, we have a post office, a general store, and 2 places where you can eat, and that's it. So the only people that go up there are either hikers or motorcyclists that take the Sunrise Highway, which is a really beautiful drive. They take that. So the solitude up there has been awesome, and my 3 cats love it because they can look out the window and see birds and rodents and
3 cats.
Birds. 3 cats. Yeah, 3 cats. So they absolutely love it, and I just love being able to go out my door and hike because I have depression, but being up there, it has really helped transform my mental health. Like I am in the best headspace I've been in years. So because I used to live next to Long Beach, and so when I would feel depressed, I would just go in my room and go on my phone. I didn't have anywhere where I can go, whereas now I can just go out my front door and be on a hiking trail and be on the PCT within minutes. And so basically changing my coping mechanism for when I would feel depressed from, just burying myself on my phone to going on the trails, it's just really helped me heal, in a lot of ways. So it's been very good. Now, with that being said, tiny house life isn't for everyone. It is pretty remote. 30 miles is the closest grocery store to me. So, I'm a little bit further from my immediate family, but there's a good thing with a tiny house living because it teaches you to be efficient with your money, with your time, because you go into, I live, El Cajon is the closest, city. So I'll go there and I'll be like, okay, I need to go this grocery store. I only need this. So it's not like at my old house, Long Beach, you can
Yeah.
drive within minutes to like the grocery store, and so.
I know El Cajon. My family used to live there, or
Oh, okay.
my mom's sister used to live there. I used to visit. It's a very bougie mountain community,
Yeah, there's parts that are bougie for
or the
sure.
gated communities at
Yeah, the
least. Yeah.
gated community. But yeah, so it teaches you to be more efficient with your money and with your time. Like I've saved a lot of money by being up there. So yeah, it's been great. It's been great.
The tiny house living, is this like short-term rentals? Is it you do it weekly, monthly? Like how does that work?
There is a mix. So you have like what I'm doing. I signed a 6-month lease,
Okay.
and then I'm going month to month after that. Because I wanted to try it out. I wanted to see what it was for me because I didn't want to be like at the later stages of my life thinking, oh, I wish I would have tried it. Like, so I'm trying it out for 6 months until the end of December, and I'm gonna see if it's long term for me, right? Like I'm still deciding that. So you have those leases that are 6 months and 12 months, and then you have ones. There's a few that are for sale up there. They're owned by private owners, and a neighbor of mine is actually in the process of buying one. So we're good friends. So she joked that she's gonna be 2 doors down from me, so I can just holler to her, "Hey, Steph, hey." But so you have private owners that sell them, and then they have land where if someone else has a tiny house, they can drive it up there and put it on that plot of land. And then you have the vacation rentals. You got a few of those that I stayed at. Like I live directly next door to one of them. So for all the couples out there that are like in the San Diego County area, it's actually a really romantic place to be. Like living in the forest, you get to be alone, you get to hear the birds and be among the trees. So staying in a vacation rental is, it's a great place for like a little getaway and stuff.
Very inspiring that you put yourself in this new environment, this
Living the
tiny house
dream.
living. No, like seriously, because like I loved your mentality. Like you just pulled the trigger. Like I can't keep waiting.
Yep.
Like do it now while I'm capable and able to.
Yep.
And what a hack just to have nature, your literal doorstep. I mean, you're in the literal forest in the woods. And has there been any like super cool like experiences or unique experience that you've got to enjoy or see while you're out there? Whether it's maybe something in relation to the wildlife or your community and the people you've met, or just anything you noticed on the trails or just in that immediate environment?
Yeah, that is a great question. So there's the Desert View Trail that goes into the PCT, and I wanted to put this like in my top 3 trails, like and stuff. So I'm happy I can plug this in. So,
Yeah. Shout it out.
Yeah, shout out. So the Desert View Trail, you go in the Burt Rancheria campground, which is right behind my property, and you hike that, and then it takes you to the Desert View Trail, and then eventually you get on the PCT, and it's always humbling hiking on the PCT, just because like greatness has been on that trail.
Ooh,
like
yes.
you have. So I was looking this up recently. I mean, this might have changed. Like some people might have gotten to Canada already, but as of last week, 10,942 people have completed the hike from Mexico to Canada. Out of those 10,942, only 122 have done it more than once. So
What a ratio.
It's a little more than 1%. So just hiking, that trail, hiking that dirt. I know I've shared this trail with legends, like people that have set records, like people that have hiked it multiple times. So it's always humbling, but.
For people not familiar with what the PCT is, Pacific Crest Trail.
Yeah.
What exactly is that route, real quick, just so that the audience knows?
So I think it's like over 2,000 miles, but it's basically from the border of Mexico up to the border of Canada. And it can be a really hard hike. Like the peak season is usually from March to May. So I moved there toward the end of the season, so I didn't get to see it. I got to meet some. It was really interesting because the 2 people that I introduced myself to were both named Grant.
No way.
Yeah, it was just like, I was like, what the heck? Just by serendipity, I was like, what the heck?
You should have took a selfie. The Grants are here.
Yeah. So I got to know a few of them and stuff. But yeah, I got there toward the end. The peak season is March to May because it heats up eventually. So you work your way up from SoCal, and then you get to the Eastern Sierras, and then eventually you get to Oregon and Washington, and a lot of people can't make it. It's very difficult.
Yes, it is.
You have trail angels that will leave stuff like water or supplies, and then there's certain sites where you can mail stuff to yourself. So like there's ways you can make it work, but It's grueling, man. So just knowing that legends have like completed that whole trail, and then I was talking to Natalie recently. I was like, hey, like when are people going to be arriving from Canada? And she's like, oh, they're not going to be here till November. And then she told me only 20 people last year. Only
That's
20
it?
people that reached from Canada to Mexico. So
Damn.
that is gnarly, knowing that there's so many other people that come from Mexico.
How special is that?
Yeah.
You're literally right next to a section on the PCT trail, and love how that perspective, like there's legends on this trail.
Legends, record breakers, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be able to do a through hike one day. We'll see. On that lake, that requires a lot of
Part of it.
time off.
Yeah, a
Like
lot of time
that's like what, several months out of the year that you gotta somehow figure out.
Yeah,
Figure
yeah.
out, save enough money, or just say F it. Let me just put
Yeah,
myself out there.
June, July, August, September. I mean, we're probably not going to see people come from camp for another 6 months.
Damn, that's wild.
Yeah.
I'm interested in doing the JMT because I know that's much
Oh,
short.
that's
The
a
John
pretty
Muir
trail. Yeah, that takes you to Big Pine Lakes, which is a hike that I've been wanting to, go on. I almost got there in 2022, but I got short of it. But
Oh, you haven't been there yet?
no, I mean I've been on the trail, but I had to turn back. I was like a 0.3 miles from Lake One, so I really want to go back.
I read in a blog, so I did Big Pine Lakes with the Just Trek crew last year for
Yeah,
all of our first time, or at least most of us.
yeah.
They refer to Big Pine Lakes in the Eastern Sierras as the Patagonia of that area because of the deep turquoise blue. When I read that, I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
wow, that's an epic description. And then when we actually got there, my goodness, dude, it was just so dramatic. The craggy faces of a Temple Crag and then the Alpine Lake down below. Like, I'm really excited for you to get on out there.
And the trailhead is less than 5 hours from downtown LA. You don't have to fly down to
Correct.
Patagonia. You can just drive. Like I don't love flying. Flying to me is pretty inconvenient. Like I like being able to drive. Like I can wear sandals. I can wear sweats. I can play music. Put my foot. My hand out the window. So So the fact that it's only like 4 or 5 hours from downtown is awesome.
It's really nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It really is.
The
nothing.
drive's so easy to get there too.
Yeah, we're so spoiled here in California,
Yeah,
Grant.
yeah.
Like people keep forgetting there's a whole scene in San Diego County, and then you have Baja, Mexico. You got
Yeah,
Mexico
I haven't
in
been
general.
down there yet, but yeah, maybe one of those days.
Super excited to ask you this next question, as you just have so many countless adventures. If there was one hiking experience or outdoor experience you could relive all over again, what would that be for you? And take a moment to process that one, because
Yeah.
I know that one
That I can
be
relive.
difficult. Yeah, the one hiking or
Yeah.
outdoor experience you could relive all over again.
So there's one experience where I'm gonna plug in another trail.
Go
So Glacier National Park is, to me, the most beautiful national park. Like I've been there 3 times, and it has the most unique ecosystem. Like there's so many animals. Like literally one time, my dad, my uncle, and I came within 30 yards of a grizzly on the trail, and it was hilarious because we had our bear spray, but the wind was blowing towards us, so it would have been useless. So it's just like you see these grizzly bears on TV, and we're just like, holy shit! Like, we're seeing it like firsthand, and it was up on its hind.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of like a staring contest, and then it ran off. So that gives you a taste of Glacier. But there was one time in particular where it was 2020. It was 2020. And we had gone there, and we went up the Grinnell Glacier Trail, which is pretty brutal to get to, but it takes you to a glacial lake. And so we took a boat to get over to the other side, and we hiked up there, but it was overcast, and then it started getting drizzly, and my dad, his shirt got damp, and he didn't bring an extra shirt. So we had to turn back because we didn't want to get him to get hypothermia. So in 2023, we got our redemption. So it was him and I, and we went back, and this time it was sunny, and we made our way up. So we started early, we learned from our mistakes, and he brought a change of clothes, and we just made our way up. And I remember there was one time, like I was wearing, I think this shirt. It was my long sleeve. It was like a poncho style, like the colorful shirt.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yes,
so I was wearing it, and I remember this group of hikers like, "Yo, man, cool shirt." And I was like, yeah, high-fiving and stuff, and it was so cool. And My dad was trucking along, and like he was like 65 at the time. He was trucking along pretty good. He was in good shape, and we reached that point where we turned back last time, and like there was a bench, and I asked him, like, "Hey, you good?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good." So we eventually got to the lake, and it was so cool because you're seeing history, like where we were standing was all glacier, like hundreds of years ago, and it's sad to think about like the glaciers receding, but we still saw a good amount of like glacial ice, and you can hear it like breaking and stuff, and you're just standing on history. And I remember when I got there, I gave like my dad a high five, and it was like the most epic hike I'd been on with him, just having that redemption. And so I created content, and he's a very talented photographer, so he was taking photos. So I got to see him in his element. He was like a little kid, and I put my head in. Like I didn't go all the way in because like that's glacial water. It's freaking cold. So he took some photos, and we had like a rock skipping contest. So just being able to have those memories with my dad, like he's the guy that I look up to. He set a great example, and like he's who introduced me to the outdoors. So that is an experience that I would definitely relive. I'm just grateful that I got to share those memories with him.
The redemption is always sweeter, and how sweet it was to have redemption with your father.
Amen.
And share such a core outdoor memory. That's such a beautiful story. Like, that's so amazing that you're able to still hike with him.
Yeah.
Because in these later years of life, we only have so much more time with him. So
Yeah.
for you to be able to take the time to spend time with your dad, who you look up to, who got you into the outdoors, that you have these core memories as a young kid, camping trips, hikes. Like, I just think that's the most beautiful thing, man, that you have that special relationship with your father. So shout outs to him.
Shout out to you, Dad. But like I said, in October we're going to North Cascades National Park. We think it may be our best trip yet. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna have content coming away in October.
I have a strong feeling that it might be because North Cascades is all the rave. I hear from Ivan and a lot of other guests on the podcast, like the wildlife, how remote it is, just the dramatic scenery.
The larches that are gonna be turning. Ooh.
That's right. I remember Ivan telling me about the larches.
Oh man, they're so beautiful when they turn.
All right, guess what?
What?
Guess what?
What?
It's time for the rapid fire question section.
Yeah, okay.
All right. I know you're
thought
familiar.
you were gonna be like, I'm going there too. I was like, yeah, you're gonna go to North Cascades.
Guess what? We're gonna jump in the lake. All right. I know you're familiar, but the way it works is 2 rounds. Round 1 is outdoor focus, and then round 2 is personal.
All right.
So just answer with one-word answers or short and concise answers.
All right.
All right. Round 1. You ready?
Yes, sir.
You ready? Rock steady.
Ready, rock steady.
Let's get. Yes, he said it. It's official. Favorite trail snack?
Uncrustables. Gotta have Uncrustables.
Trail runners or hiking boots?
I used to be for years hiking boots before I got in the community as a group hiker, but there's so many people in the community that have trail runners. So finally I went and tried them out for myself, and Merrill has sponsored some of the events, so they gave us a discount code. So I went and got the Alpha 5s, and we actually have the same pair.
Colorway, yeah.
Same colorway, and I just love them. So I've already had 2 pairs, so I'm able to breathe. They're easy to put on.
I like them a lot.
Yeah, so I've actually transformed from a hiking boot guy to a trail runner guy.
I got to give a shout outs to Vic from LA Trail Killers.
Yeah, and shout out to Merrill.
And Merrill blessing us with all the Merrill shoes.
Yes.
For us to try. I love the Agility Peak. I am a big fan of those.
Agility Peak, yeah.
Yeah, Agility Peak, and I think they came out with a Moab Speed 2 or something like that. I like that one as well. But the Agility Peak is great for peak bagging or trail running.
Yes.
So it's very versatile.
Yes.
Desert or deserted island?
Desert.
Waterfalls or lakes?
I'm a big, oh man. I always love a good alpine lake. I always love jumping in and swimming in. But waterfall, like I was in Mount Rainier National Park last summer. Oh, there's so many beautiful waterfalls. But I just love being able to swim in an alpine lake.
I mean, I just jumped in 10 over the past few days.
Yeah.
Froze my balls off. That's all I got to say, but it was so worth it. Rock scrambling or surfing loose scree?
Oh, man. I got to plug Joshua Tree National Park. That's our home national park, and so I've rock scrambled many times up there, so I got to go rock scrambling.
Epic day hike or epic backpacking trip?
Honestly, I love my amenities. I do love, you know, getting a great hike in, but I love coming home to like a nice bed, taking a shower. So like I'll be down for a day. I'll be down for backpacking, but yeah, I just love coming home to the modern amenities. So a day hike.
I mean, some day hikes, depending what you do, can kind of feel like a backpacking trip.
Yes, absolutely.
Favorite camping meal?
Favorite camping gear?
Meal.
Oh, meal. Well, so shout out to Rudy. Rudy is like our group chef for Outdoor Adventure Plus, and he brings taco meat, and you know he makes us taco at Montana del Oro.
Yeah,
We
I got to try it.
yes, and so that was really delicious. So shout out to Rudy.
Yeah, I remember hearing all the hype
Yes.
about Rudy's tacos, these marinated Al Pastor tacos he gets from his guy.
Mr.
gets from his plug.
Casanova.
Mr. Casanova, always getting love on this podcast. The tacos hit the spot. They were super bomb.
Yeah.
I was impressed.
Yep.
Dawn or dusk?
I gotta say dawn, just because it's nice to be able to get a great jump on your day, and then that way you have the rest of your day to plan things out.
Yeah, it's just like it sets the tone for the day, and you feel also like really badass. You're like, I did all this before everyone was even awake.
I mean, we've been on we went on the trippy hikes with LA Trail Killers, like that was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like being able to take like an early morning hike. Oh, hey, I got the rest of my day to plan things out.
For sure. Mountain lions or grizzly bears? Oh, got to show the camera. Mountain lions for the record.
Mountain lion.
Flexing on us.
Yes, sir.
Taco Tuesday or Waterfall Wednesday?
Okay, so like I've had some bomb tacos with the Outdoor Adventure Plus crew, but I mean I'm an outdoor guy, so I gotta go Waterfall Wednesday.
Waterfall Wednesday for the record.
Yeah.
All Trails or Gaia GPS?
All Trails. Shout out to All Trails. They're great. Gotta go All Trails.
Santa Monica Mountains or San Gabriel Mountains?
Honestly, I hadn't really explored the Santa Monicas until I went with you. I've developed a greater appreciation for them, but early on in life, I would go to the San Gabriels. Like my dad would love to take my brother and I to Ice House Canyon.
Ooh.
That was really nice. Like they had the
Special
creek right
place.
there. Yeah, so my brother, would go play along the creek and I would play. So that was like one of my earlier memories when I was a teenager. So I gotta go San Gabriel. And then Baldy, I've gone to summit that once, and the view is amazing up there. So I gotta go San Gabriel. Although, it's gonna be interesting to see how it's changed since the unfortunate fires that happened in January. So hopefully the land heals. But yeah, I always have a soft spot for San Gabriel's.
I just went to Baldy 2 weekends ago.
How was it?
Oh man, it was incredible. It's really the bottom part of the trail that was affected specifically.
Okay.
The old Mount Baldy Trail, that village area, also known as Bear Canyon. But actually, everything above it is unaffected.
Oh, that's good.
But they had to close it out of extreme caution because.
And then let the vegetation regrow.
Correct.
Yeah.
But to summit Mount Baldy is always a pilgrimage, a powerful pilgrimage because it's the tallest in LA County. A true alpine peak, especially in the wintertime.
Peak, yeah. It's a grueling hike, but it's a fulfilling one.
How about this? I'll ask you this question: Cleveland National Forest or Angeles National Forest?
Oh, Cleveland.
You got to go with the hometown.
I got to, yeah.
Greatest fear on the trail?
Getting lost.
As you mentioned in that story.
Earlier.
It's a very real feeling.
Yeah.
Music artist you want to hike with?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this one, I always get that reaction from people.
Oh, man.
Music artist you want to hike with, want to share the trails with.
Does it have to be an artist or can it be a group?
It can be a group.
It can be a group.
I'll be open to that.
Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I've always
yeah.
appreciated like when I'm on a roadie, like I've always their music just puts me in a calm place. So just being able to hike with a group, that'd be really cool.
National park you want to visit the most that you have not already?
Well, I can't count North Cascades. I've already gotten that, but whoo, man. I mean, I have a lot to go.
At this moment.
Yeah, at this moment. It would be cool to see the Redwood National Park. Like Outdoor Adventure Plus, we have a hike planned for there, so we will see. Another one, like White Sands National Park in New Mexico. I was gonna visit there last year, but I couldn't do it. So there's a couple. I would like to go to all of them.
Good
Yeah.
answer. In one word, how does hiking make you feel?
One word.
One word.
Healed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes round one. You survived. This is where
survived.
we sip our water. Quick 15-second break. You got your water? What do you got over there?
Yeah, I got ice.
You got ice? I got electrolyte.
Yeah, electrolyte.
There's so many water brands.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, shout out to ice.
Shout outs to
Sparkling one,
electrolyte. This is where I always say I need a water sponsor.
Yeah. Well, you got a lot already. Yeah, man. I just want to give you the. Hey, I want to give him the plug. I am so proud of how this dude has grown over time, and I'm really proud of the good work he's done in this community. Like when the wildfires happened in the LA area in January, this dude was on the front lines. You know, he was assembling goods, he was assembling events, like volunteers and stuff. So just seeing this dude not only be a hiking lead, but also a pillar of the community, man. I'm really proud to consider you not just a friend, but a brother.
That means a lot, man.
Yeah,
It's so special to hear those words, because sometimes I feel like when we are growing these platforms and just doing all these different projects and leading and guiding, throwing events, it's really special to just hear any like positive feedback, because sometimes us as organizers,
give you your flowers, man.
Yeah, sometimes us as organizers, we just are so deep into the rabbit hole that we never get time to just reflect and be like, wow, we did that, or we're doing some good work, or we don't even know what the impact is a lot of times, because sometimes we're moving too fast that we don't even take a step back to be like, okay, we're doing it, we're going on the right path. You got to just keep it going, don't burn out.
You're on the right path. Yeah.
All right, it's time for round two.
Round two.
The personal section.
All right.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
You ready, rock steady?
Ready, rock steady.
Let's go. Favorite comfort food?
Man, favorite comfort food. Oh man. Can it be like any food, like dinner, like
any comfort food that satisfies the tummy?
Okay. So I have a ritual when I go out of state. I just did this in Prescott last week. Like I always go to a Denny's and I always get their chicken fried steak. Like that to me, it's just like I take a long hike and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna treat myself. So chicken fried steak, yeah.
Dude, chicken fried steak is literally one of the most satisfying things you can have.
My mom used to make it, and so that's how I used to like, oh, get that. Like, it's delicious. And so now I carry that tradition on.
Dude, that crisp, that crunch, that gravy. Oh my God.
The gravy, get that mashed potatoes in.
Sleep coma right afterwards.
Yes,
for sure.
yeah.
Favorite cartoon show growing up?
Favorite cartoon show growing up? Let's see here. Oh man, you know, I liked growing up. Like you had like Cartoon Network, you had Nickelodeon. You know, you had a lot of great shows. But I have fond memories. My sister and I on the weekends we'd tune in Nickelodeon and watch SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, iconic, always classic.
Yep.
What's your hidden talent?
My hidden talent. Let's see here. Man. Well, I mean, I play basketball. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm a pretty open guy.
Sporty guy.
Sporty guy, yeah.
Awesome. What genre or type of music gets you dancing the most right now?
I hop around from like genre to genre, but I always love deep house. You know,
yes,
house,
my brother.
Yeah.
We're on the same wavelength.
Like,
I love my
remember,
deep house.
Like, so we had that hiking trip to Point Doom, and you put on the Black Coffee track.
Yes, the Afrobeat house music. Yeah,
and that got me.
You're obsessed with that.
Yeah, that got me going. I was like, all right. Yeah.
I see you use that for
I did.
Some of your reels and content. I was like, I think he really likes this song.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Shouts Black Coffee, living legend in the house community, house music community.
Yes.
App you're currently using the most besides Instagram?
For anything, iNaturalist.
Of course.
Because that's the naturalist in me. Like, I love seeing, like, oh, what tree is that? Oh, what flower is that? Like, that's how I found out about the grape soda lupine. That's how I found out about the Colorado 4 o'clock.
Yeah, what I love about iNaturalist too is that you're contributing to the scientific research.
Yes.
Because it's a communal upload.
Yeah, and then you have community members that will be like, oh, no, that's, such and such. And
Exactly.
oh, I didn't know. So yeah, iNaturalist.
If you could be any animal, what would you be?
Mountain lion, because mountain lions are really observant. They listen, they're quiet, like they're stealth, they're not seen. And that's kind of how I operate. I like to listen most of the time rather than speak. Like that's how I learn things, and I move quietly. Like that's how I'm mysterious. So mountain lion.
Misterioso.
That's why I got the tattoo. Yep.
If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to? It could also be a period of time you did not live in.
I'd love to go back to my grandfather's generation. So like he was born in the roaring 20s or the 30s, the 40s, like the Civilian Conservation Corps, because my grandfather is a wonderful man. And then, so that was my dad's. And then my mother's father too, like he was a Marine. Like I'd love to be able to grow up in that era and see how it shaped them, because the world's way different today. So I would like to go back to like the 30s and the 40s and that stuff.
I like the 1920s answer, the Roaring 20s,
the Roaring
Speakeasy era.
Speakeasy era, yeah.
Because look what's so trendy the past years in nightlife.
Yeah.
Speakeasies, going through
They're
our
still
vending
around.
machine. Oh yeah, I used to go speakeasy bar hopping all the time when I was partying a lot more.
Yeah, I know some certain I can't say them, but
yeah, keep it speakeasy.
Yeah, keep it speakeasy.
Describe yourself in 3 words.
Man, positive, optimistic, upbeat.
And here's the final question of the rapid fire question section. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Favorite sound?
Favorite sound? Oh man, these are some great questions.
Take a moment.
Like that's why I'm saying them out loud, because I'm trying to mentally process them.
Favorite sound?
Woo! Oh,
so many
man.
sounds.
So can this be like music or nature? Like what's the thing?
However you interpret it.
The sound of wind chimes. The sound of wind chimes, like going against, like with the wind, it's really calming to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, wind chimes.
I feel like the sound of wind chimes recalibrates the mind in a sense, right?
Yeah, it just kind of makes you focus on the sound. And then, so my aunt lives in northern San Diego County, and they have a beautiful property that's overlooking like Oceanside, Carlsbad, and you can see the ocean. And I just remember when I was younger, I'd go and visit, and I would just sit there, feel the breeze, and just hearing those wind chimes. It just kind of takes my mind back. So wind chimes they just make everything so much calmer.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, Grant, you survived the rapid fire question section.
Yep, got through it.
Good times. It's
Good
always fun
times.
as the host to keep the guest on their feet.
Yeah, man. Always, brother. It's always a pleasure, man. Shout out to Justin Just Trek, man. He's doing some great things for the community. He's my brother. He's my friend. Just wanted to give him his flowers. Really excited to see what he has in store.
All right, so now we're at the end of the episode, but I always turn the spotlight back to the guest. Grant, do you have any final words you want to share to your friends and family, the outdoor community? The floor is yours. Take us home, bro.
I'm going to harp on the theme of gratitude. Starting out my content creating journey, I didn't really have a blueprint, a template, and I wouldn't have imagined in a million years that I'd be at the position I'm at now. I've met so many friends that turned into family. I've had so many opportunities that have turned into lifelong memories that I can, smile and laugh about. And it's all thanks to the outdoor community for giving me those memories. And I'm very grateful for everyone that's supported me, that's shown me love on my journey. And that's what helps keep me going, like with my content creation. And I'm really looking forward to having you all along on my Gallivants. The best is yet to come. So yeah, just thank y'all for everything. And thank you, Justin, for allowing me to have this platform. I'm honored. And I'm grateful, and big things are in store.
I'm very proud of you, Grant. You have been thriving in so many different ways. Thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for your great storytelling. And thank you for just being a genuine human being.
Yes, sir. Stay true to yourself.
All right, y'all. That concludes another episode of the podcast, Gallivanting with Grant. Just Trek Podcast. Elevation is our recreation, and we are out.
Peace,
y'all.